But you just look at their record, and they've reached the knockout stage of the Champions League. Chelsea 7-1 over two legs, 8-2 in that one-off game against Barcelona, 3-0 against Lyon when they weren't even at their best. What's he done? What's he changed about the team?
I would say they were terrible in comparison to this.
Well, comparison to this, okay.
They were. I think this is the thing. What Bayern saw was a very talented squad, which was being like, it's like having a very fast car which you're driving at 20. It didn't make sense, and that was the way that Niko Kovac was coaching the side. He was very defensively minded, and you saw that in the way that the reaction to the 0-0 draw that they got at Anfield in the first leg of their knockout tie last season, that was seen as a good result and a good performance. But that's not where Bayern Munich should be with this team. And that's what Hansi Flick has done. He's brought back a brand of football where they are dominating sides. They are pushing very high up. That there is an inherent risk that comes with that. But the thing is, Bayern are now 29 games unbeaten in all competitions. They've not faced a side, though, that will be able to push them at the back like the likes of Neymar and Kylian Mbappe will. But what Hansi Flick has done is he's created a Swiss Army knife brand of football where they can pick their method to cut you apart. They have been excellent whenever I've seen them, whether it's winning the ball high up the pitch by pressing, whether it's being able to play a delicate ball over the top to one of their numerous fast players they have going forward. They have so many ways that they can hurt you, and that is the secret. Plan A for Hansi Flick is so vast that he almost doesn't really need a plan B.
And by contrast, you've got Thomas Tuchel at Paris Saint-Germain. And Matt, like you said, the game against Atalanta, probably 5 minutes away, or 5 minutes rather, defining the rest of his time at Paris. It's amazing how these fine margins. You look at that game, you look at the game against Manchester United, which of course ended up going in the other direction last season. The decision to stick with Tuchel and the development that they've had under him. Are we starting to see more of the type of manager that we might associate with Tuchel, rather than that managing of superstars that he has to do at Paris?
It's a really difficult job, isn't it? And I still feel that, managing Mbappe and Neymar it's almost impossible in terms of being able to dictate exactly what you want on these guys. We saw Mbappe a few times last season having a bit of a tantrum when he was substituted by Thomas Tuchel, and Thomas Tuchel tried hard to say, I'm the man who makes these decisions, but then in the following weeks, Mbappe was never substituted. Neymar is now playing this central role. I mean, Thomas Tuchel, it's a difficult job, but it's one that you have to adapt to, and I think he's done that well. I think he's given the high-profile players the leeway that they needed, something that I think Unai Emery didn't do, and that ultimately cost him. So Neymar and Mbappe call the shots, I think, in that respect, and pretty much do what they want out on the pitch. But it's a system that works, and I think what's happening at the moment is that they've got this team spirit, and they've got this sort of united feel to them that they didn't have in previous seasons. I think Thomas Tuchel has to take credit for that. I think there are various reasons. The makeup of the team is different as well. The cliques that we had last year, Dani Alves and Neymar in particular, Dani Alves leaving has kind of indirectly led to Neymar being a bit more open, and they brought in Spanish guys like Sarabia and Ander Herrera who are not big names. I can add Juan Bernat to that, the goalkeeper Navas, but they're really good professionals. And I just think at PSG it's a much healthier sort of environment, a much healthier atmosphere on the training ground these days.
And Matt, I was interested to read in one of your articles that the sort of turnaround started, as all great turnarounds should do, on the dance floor of a Paris nightclub.
Well, yeah, I mean that's been the same with my life as well. No, it hasn't really. But yeah, I mean, but that's what I was sort of referring to a bit before. When they lost in Dortmund, they were getting so much criticism. And then 2 days after that 2-1 defeat in Dortmund, they were quite lucky to get away with the 2-1 defeat. They went out to celebrate 3 of the players' birthdays, and these videos were leaked all over social media. And you saw Neymar was there, Mbappe was there, albeit slightly sort of low profile in the background. And, these guys jumping around, and you just, watching that, you just thought, this is just so disrespectful to their fans who are suffering. They're on the brink of another Champions League exit. But I do feel it was kind of like, they had a sort of, a big meeting after the Dortmund game, and it kind of felt like it was intentional. They're just like, well, we're a team, we're together. And in one of those videos, Keylor Navas is jumping up and he shouts, "This is how we win the Champions League." And yeah, I just think from that moment on, it's kind of been a case of it's us against the world, and people are going to laugh at us, people are going to criticise us, but we're going to show what we're made of, and so far they have done.
So Matt, you said about Thomas Tuchel taking credit for the team spirit, but he's also letting Neymar and Mbappe do what they want. So essentially, should we be giving him credit for that? Because it sounds like it's a bit of a free-for-all, that they are the biggest influencers at the club, Neymar and Mbappe.
I think it's modern football, Chris, and I'd like to say, well, PSG have got a coach who is like 100% respected, 100% listened to, but these are 200 million pound footballers, huge brands, and he didn't get the respect that he wanted, certainly from Mbappe last season, and there have been moments with Neymar. It's interesting if you contrast it with Didier Deschamps and the French national team. Deschamps has been really, really tough with Kylian Mbappe, and Mbappe has accepted it and has responded to it. But I don't think Thomas Tuchel has that sort of, probably, doesn't have the aura or the past that Didier Deschamps has in France. And yeah, I think he has had to accept that he can't basically tell Neymar and Mbappe what to do on a daily basis.
So it could be a historic night for Paris Saint-Germain in Lisbon, but for Bayern Munich, a chance to write another page on their great European history, Archie. It's a real opportunity for them and for Hansi Flick to become only the second manager to win the treble with Bayern Munich.
And especially after he played in one of their Champions League finals, or the European Cup as it was back in 1987. But this is the thing, Bayern, it's either triumph or despair in terms of Bayern Munich's past in these finals. You look at what happened to them in 1987, but of course, a little more famously in England, what happened in 1999 in Barcelona. But this is the be-all and end-all for Bayern. This is what it's all about. Like, all of these Bundesliga titles that they've won in between, 8 consecutive domestic titles, that's all well and good. But the main thing for Bayern is winning this Champions League and completing the treble. It would only be their second in the club's history, but that is what this whole club breathes on. So a huge opportunity for Hansi Flick to write his name into Bayern folklore, when I don't think he would have been a name that most of us would have recognised across European football, even if you went back to October. Okay, he played a major role in Germany winning the World Cup. He was Joachim Löw's assistant coach back in 2014. He had that role in the national team in Germany for 8 years or so. But this has been a real step up that he's made by going into the coaching team at Bayern at the start of the season, and just with this quiet but still authoritative touch that he's had, he has won the respect of many big names or all the important characters in this squad, and he's created a really good side as well.
Just over 25 minutes to go until kickoff in this evening's Champions League final. Guys, we're going to let you go and get your final preparations underway. Thank you very much to Matt Spiro and to Archie Rinton. I say final preparations, I mean just getting your pre-match snacks in and just making sure that you're settled and ready to go for this one. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Commentary to come from 8 o'clock from Lisbon. John Murray, just remind us of the team news.
Yes, the main news for Paris Saint-Germain, who make just the one change from their semi-final, is that Keylor Navas, the Costa Rican international goalkeeper, former Real Madrid Champions League winner, is fit. So Keylor Navas plays in goal for Paris Saint-Germain. So Sergio Rico is on the bench. Other than that, it's the same team that started the semi-final. And Bayern Munich make just the one change, and that is Kingsley Coman, former Paris Saint-Germain youngster, remember, has come back in to face his former club in the final. He takes the place of Perisic, who is on the bench tonight, the Croatian World Cup player. So Jerome Boateng is fit and Pavard is on the bench again for Bayern Munich. It looks like a warm night, I must say. It looks like a lovely day in Lisbon. Lovely night for it, but temperature last I looked was 25 degrees in the Estadio de Luz with humidity of 53%. So that obviously could be a factor.
Yeah, it's going to feel like one of those real European finals on those balmy summer evenings, although it's taking place, of course, in August rather than in late spring, in late May, early June, as it normally would. So Mbappe, Neymar, Lewandowski, who is going to own this final? You've been having your say. Curtis said, I'm lost with this Neymar obsession. Mbappe is the best player in the PSG squad by a mile for me. Neymar's end product has been absolutely dreadful lately, and I don't think he'd even make my Brazilian top 10. We may discuss that point a little bit later on, particularly after his brilliant performance in the semi-final. Josh says Lewandowski is a striker, a complete forward for me, made in the mould of players like Ruud van Nistelrooy and Alan Shearer. He's right up there with the best, and Josh said he would have been a serious Ballon d'Or contender if it was going ahead. Matt is looking forward to see Mbappe against Davis. It's going to be an incredible contest tonight. Mbappe and Neymar have the ability to destroy any team on their day, and William says, seeing tweets about Neymar and Mbappe being the best duo in world football, but William is having none of that. PSG should be more worried about Lewandowski, Müller and Gnabry than Bayern should be about Neymar, Mbappe and Di Maria, or perhaps they should all be worried about them. But let's hear from former Bayern striker, Bayern midfielder Michael Ballack on just what makes Lewandowski so good.
I mean, he's outstanding, and the secret is he's never injured. He's nearly playing every game since years, and the way he's playing every year, motivating himself to another level, scoring incredibly goals, and the amount of goals he scored this season especially. Unfortunately, there's no Ballon d'Or or Player of the Year, World Player of the Year, which he would be very, very close, if not the best striker. But he made a great job, and reaching the final, it's also his achievement.
You've got to wonder, how do you think Bayern will approach playing Neymar and Mbappe?
Yeah, that's the difference to especially the way Barcelona played, because you could see with Messi and Suarez, two different players up front. They like to have the ball in the feet. You know, there was less depth in the game, and that was easily to defend for Bayern's back four. And now you have players like Neymar and Mbappe. They have speed. They like to go behind. It's a totally different game, and we will see how they adapt. I think Boateng is a big part, you know, because Süle was injured for a long time, and you could see when he came on that he has still some weaknesses, but Boateng, he picked the injury. That's a little question, but Alphonso Davies, they have also speed in the back, incredibly speed, who can handle these kind of players, so I'm not worried about that.
That was Michael Ballack talking about Robert Lewandowski and the chances of Bayern Munich, and it could be a real tactical battle between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern this evening. Let's bring in Michael Cox from The Athletic. Evening, Michael.
Good evening, Kelly.
The big question everybody is asking is how much Bayern Munich are going to change, or if they are going to change, to deal with Paris Saint-Germain. Hansi Flick said they've always tried to impose their style on the opposition, always played with a high line, and ultimately they're not going to change too much. But can they tweak?
Yeah, I think they will a bit. I mean, they haven't played a side as strong as PSG this season. And, you know, even though they won 8-2 in that game against Barcelona, it was remarkable how often they got caught out with long balls in behind. I think the issue is not really just the high defensive line. It's the fact that they play so compact with the midfield almost 5-10 metres in front of the defence. They often don't really have the midfielders in a position to press the man on the ball. So that's what's going to be interesting for me. Not necessarily changing the defensive line, but maybe just pressing a little bit more intensely in midfield positions.
Chris Waddle was making the point earlier on that the teams who've come unstuck in this sort of mini competition in Lisbon have been the ones who've tried to change too much.
Yep, and I think he's absolutely spot on. I don't see Bayern changing the way they play it. Absolutely not, because it's worked for them under Hansi Flick since he's been the manager there. And when Karl-Heinz Rummenigge spoke about him, he spoke about that he's brought back the values of the club, and it's important they play winning football, but highly attractive football. So if it's working, why? I know it's a big game, of course it is, but why would he change now? And I also think that could have, if he does change, it could have a psychological effect on the players who go out on the pitch and are more tentative. And if they are tentative, then you would expect Mbappe and Neymar to exploit. So I expect Bayern Munich to come out full throttle and just play the same way.
So, Michael, of the teams that Bayern have faced and been dominant against, even when they haven't necessarily been at their best, are Paris Saint-Germain best placed to take advantage of any small weaknesses that Bayern may have?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, with the front three, with and without the ball, obviously they've got the speed to go in behind. We know all about Mbappe's speed. But I think what was impressive in PSG's semi-final display was that, in a match-up between them and Leipzig, you probably would have said the one thing that Leipzig are better than PSG at is pressing from the front and being cohesive and working as a team. But I thought PSG did that really well. They forced mistakes from the Leipzig goalkeeper. So they didn't really have any area of weakness compared to their opponents. So, yeah, I mean, I think that the front three of PSG is obviously the key thing here. And, as I think one of the people who texted in said, it's not just about Neymar and Mbappe. And Di Maria was outstanding in the semi-final. And I think he's also got the defensive work rate to do a job against Alphonso Davies as well, who's been so pivotal in this mini tournament.
Yeah, that's going to be an absolutely fascinating contest between Alphonso Davies and Kylian Mbappe as well. You've talked in your piece for The Athletic, Michael, about the fact that for Bayern this could almost be a hybrid of two World Cup winning performances.
Yeah, well, I mean, 2014, I think the major tactical story of that tournament was Manuel Neuer and his sweeping outside the box. And then 2018, I remember that game against Argentina, 4-3 win for France in particular, where Mbappe's speed was just incredible to watch. And it feels like there could be a showdown between the two of them. I mean, we saw Neuer long way outside his goal, outside his penalty area in the semi-final and not getting to the ball. And Mbappe, I mean, statistically, he has more one-on-one chances than any other player in Europe, which maybe isn't a surprise considering his speed. But, of course, in domestic competition, PSG don't face teams who are playing high up the pitch. They face teams who are 20, 25 metres from goal. So against this Bayern side, it just seems almost inevitable there will be a showdown between those two players.
Chris Waddle, looking at Bayern Munich, that high defensive line that they play, is that something that you would look forward to playing against?
I think when you've got people like Neymar, who basically, he's quick Neymar, but he likes the ball to feet, where Mbappe is the one where you can thread balls down the side or through the gaps and he'll get onto it because he is so quick. But, they've got a back four. Alaba's quite quick. Davis is very fit. Kimmich is a top player for me. Excellent. But no matter where you play him, he's a top player. And they read the game well. I don't think when there's time on the ball, yes, they like the press. I still think that when they're looking at it, I'll be very surprised if Boateng and Alaba standing on the halfway lane when they pick the ball up. I would say they'd rather say to Mbappe, come and run at us and beat us. If you go past us, we can get bodies round you, hopefully. I think that's what they'll do. If they want to hold, yes, they may catch them offside sometimes, but if they want to hold that risky high lane, they are asking for trouble. All I've got to think about is, keep them in front of us. Don't let them run in behind it. Get people around them when they get it. Make them give it to the players who are not as good as them too. And I think that's where they're going to get the swing. I think that's what they'll be working at. You can't just say, we've got to play 30 yards deeper because of Neymar and Mbappe. Yes, they are quick, but then that brings the team back on top of it, and that takes away your strengths. You've got to look at the strengths of your side. Bayern Munich's strengths are playing on the front foot, going after people, getting the ball, win the ball high up the field, and playing from there. If you're going against that tonight and sitting deep, you're playing into Paris' hands.
It's interesting to listen to Chris, Michael, talking about, making sure that the ball goes to players who aren't as good as those stars who are going to be playing, particularly for Paris this evening. And Ollie makes a point on social media, which I think is one that's kind of mentioned in all the casual conversations around this Champions League performance. PSG have incredible individual talent, yet Bayern have a collective brilliance. Both teams have the ability to beat anyone in their day. But Ollie says he feels that Bayern's big match experience might be enough to swing the game in there. I mean, that might be Bayern's big match experience as a collective, because individually, of course, there are Champions League winners in there and there are World Cup winners in the Paris Saint-Germain squad. But is that a fair point, that one that's being made, or is it that a case of, if it's repeated often enough, people will believe it? Is Paris Saint-Germain, is it a more star-driven side than Bayern's collective?
I think it certainly is as a club, and I think that would have been fair comment coming into this mini tournament. But as I say, I thought that performance against Leipzig in the last round really showed a different side to PSG, one that we haven't seen in the knockout stages of the Champions League before. And just on them being a bit more of a collective, I think it's worth pointing out for both sides how important the benches could be. I mean, we've got a situation we've never had where there's 5 subs, a 6th in extra time, and an incredible level of strength and depth for both sides, and 2 evenly matched teams. So you think probably more than any game in the history of football, you could say, there seems to be more chance of the benches influencing this game.
But Kelly, you've got to look at Leipzig changed their system to compensate for the Mbappe, the pace of Neymar, the tricks, the skills, whatever. They changed their game. They sat deep. Now Leipzig are a little bit like Bayern. Their success has been on high pressure, getting the ball back, playing at a very high tempo, which teams can't settle in. They don't enjoy playing against them. And all of a sudden they come up and they look and they think, oh, pace of Mbappe, Neymar, got a problem, let's play deep, let's play counter-attack. And it's took them completely off their game, which they've played probably 30, 40 games, 50 games this season on a certain way of playing. And all of a sudden they've said, look, we're going to play this different. And the players just didn't look comfortable at all about it. And that's basically like saying to Bayern, who've got more experience probably, let's play this way. But the players may think, why? We're better than Paris. Why have we got to change?
And Chris, you've played in a Champions League final. You know what it takes to get to that stage of the competition. And you mentioned earlier the fact that Paris have beaten Atalanta, who've never played in the Champions League before this season. They beat Leipzig, who haven't reached the knockout stages in this competition before now. How significant is it that those clubs don't have the same level of Champions League experience that Paris, despite not having reached the final before, do have?
Yeah, Paris have been around, and they've all played on the big stage. They've won World Cups, players in that team, and they've played for the national teams, so they've been around. But you look at Leipzig, no disrespect, but it's very hard. If you go to know anybody, you could name basically most people could name 5 or 6, 7, 8 of Bayern and Paris's team. If you say about Leipzig's team, there's not many people could reel 4, 5, 6 names off. As for Atlanta's the same. They were very naive coming into the tournament. They must have thought, hey, brilliant, we're in the tournament, we've got an outside, we've got a chance, like everybody. As Lyon probably thought they had a chance, but deep down you knew they were not better than Bayern and not better than Paris. So Paris has got themselves through. Man City's been the biggest disappointment because this was the chance for them to win it. They tactically again changed for a game against Lyon, which I couldn't understand. And all of a sudden, if Bayern Munich come out there tonight and sit deep and play counter-attacking football, they're asking for trouble.
But Bayern Munich are simply thinking, in my view, we're going to impose ourselves on you, PSG. You're going to have to deal with us. And they know that, Boateng is an interesting one, that call, because he had a muscle injury, that he's fit. He's going to have a big game, and Alaba's going to have to have a big game. But that was always going to be the case in this. But it's more from Bayern Munich's point of view. You're going to have to think about us. Can you cope with our intensity? And you look at the midfield battle, and the way it looks to me is Bayern Munich can really overrun PSG in the middle of the park.
Michael, there's a lot of chat about this final potentially being high scoring. Obviously that comes down to whether or not people take their chances, but tactically, when you break it down, can you see this game being one in which a lot of chances are created?
I think both sides do want to impose themselves on the game, probably Bayern more than PSG. I guess the one caveat to that is the addition of Kingsley Coman on the left, which is a bit of a surprise because Perisic has been playing there. Coman is more of a counter-attacker. He's speedier. He is, I think, probably better at going in behind. So maybe there's, a slight feeling from Bayern that they might have to play on the counter-attack more than they would usually. But yeah, two sides who want to dominate the game. You can't really see anything other than lots of goals.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you very much to Michael Cox from The Athletic for joining us this evening. And as we said, it's been 15 years since neither Messi nor Ronaldo was involved in a Champions League final. But there is so much talent on display. And Chris, well, you were talking earlier about Neymar, and you mentioned the theatrics that you may have seen from him, or you have seen from him throughout, particularly this mini tournament, and particularly behind closed doors. But in terms of his pure performances, do you think that he might well have won some people over with a degree of selflessness, perhaps?
I think he's fitted into the team, and I think he's, when he left Barcelona, he came to Paris, and he must have thought, I'm dropping down a level, really. No disrespect to the French league at the time. It wasn't as strong as the Premier League or the Bundesliga or the Italian league or the Spanish league, I didn't think. So he's probably gone down, and that's a lot of people were surprised. He went to Paris Saint-Germain, who obviously have got the money and can spend as much as they've proved they have. And this is what they built the team for. This game at 8 o'clock, this is what they built this team for, to win this trophy. That's what they've been chasing now for years and years. And you've got to say, since this tournament started, he's played very, very well. We know what he's got. He's got terrific change of pace. He's got unbelievable balance. He's brilliant with the football. He can do so many tricks and cleverness with the ball. We know what he's all about. He's missed a lot of chances, which he'd probably be disappointed about, not putting the ball in a bit more. But to me, it's how the game goes tonight. First tackle, if you see him start rolling around, and then he gets up and then he rolls around again, then you start thinking, if they go one down, if they go two down, what is he going to be like? And this is the problem, where you think Mbappe just gets on with it. He can go the other way. Listen, we know he's a wonderful talent on his day, but you look at Mbappe, I think he's got a better head between his shoulders. He's very consistent. He knows what he's good at. He knows what he can do. And that's the thing, I think, why on consistency basis you'd probably put Mbappe well ahead of Neymar.
And Chris Sutton, Mbappe said this, look, this final is exactly the reason that he joined the club. He talked about rewriting the history of French football, because he's a Paris fan. But Chris Waddle was saying that Mbappe is the one. He's not just got the talent, but he's also got the consistency.
Yeah, and he has the pace to hurt absolutely any backline in world football. But the pressure is, the pressure's on both teams tonight, of course it is, but the pressure, in my view, is really on PSG, because Chris Waddle touched on it, that when they spent the money, the Qatari owners, they're not interested in, well, they are interested in dominating French football, but they were always going to do that. But they want to dominate European football. They want to be the best team in Europe, and that was always the aim and the aspiration. That's why they brought in the likes of Mbappe and Neymar. And tonight is the night they have to prove themselves and try and get the membership at the top table. So in that respect, Neymar has to turn up tonight. Mbappe has to turn up tonight. The two most expensive players in the world. Give us a return. That's what the owners will be thinking.
It's an interesting point, the sort of broadening out to French football. And there's been lots of talk about Paris representing the French league in this situation. Obviously not France at international level, but in terms of their domestic competition. When you were at Marseille, Chris, Paris wouldn't have been a consideration then. So is this a big game for French football, for the French league at the moment?
Oh, definitely. The French league is... Paris have invested heavily. Lyon had a spell after Marseille. Marseille dominated for 5-6 years, and Lyon had, I think, won 8 leagues in a row. Lyon looked like they were going to go on and do this and that and the other with the Champions League. And Paris then took over that with the new owners. They threw money, and this is what they want to win. They want to win the Champions League, and they're in the final tonight. So, but I think that the French leagues, it did compete many years ago with every other league, and that sort of left. Yes, you're always going to have a big club in a country, and Paris are the big team in France. There's no doubt about it. The rest are selling clubs, simple as that. If you can get in that top 4, great. But Paris Saint-Germain are the team that would say, no, we don't need your money, go away. That is the only club in France who can do that. So, the French league is a selling league, but Paris are above this, and a lot of people think, oh, well, we're not big fans, we don't want Paris to succeed because all they've done is throw money at it. And a lot of people have thought, we don't want them to succeed. But it would be great for the French league if they could win it.
Will Marseille be cheering them on?
Oh, most definitely not. By the way, I'll be very surprised if they do. Listen, they'll all be sitting in Marseille with Bayern Munich shirts on tonight. Don't worry about that. And that's probably the team as well.
Let's talk about somebody in a Bayern Munich shirt this evening, and Robert Lewandowski, who's just had the most phenomenal competition. It's 15 goals for him in this season's Champions League. The record is 17 set by Cristiano Ronaldo. 2 required then to equal it. A hat-trick in this final potentially would see him go past that record set by Cristiano Ronaldo. It's been a phenomenal season for him, hasn't it, Chris Sutton?
Yep, he's got the lot, hasn't he? I think he's a perfect number 9. It's not just his goals, and he can score any type of goal, left foot, right foot. He's brilliant in the air. It's his link-up play. It's what he brings to the team. It's his mate. As soon as Bayern Munich lose the ball, he starts the press from the front, and at 32 is extremely experienced. He has the legs, and he's going to be a real menace this evening. And there are so many matchups all over the field, but you look at Kimpembe and Thiago Silva, are they going to cope with him?
And Kelly, is that
2
games less than everybody that's played in the Champions League?
And still managed to have that phenomenal record.
If you'd had
in
2
this
more
competition.
games going into it, he would have beat it by now anyway, so...
Well, you say, I mean, you kind of assume that the form that he's in, he would well have gone past that.
If he played Leon away, there you beat it already.
Yeah, it's just been extraordinary for them. And from Bayern throughout this competition, I mean, they started, well, remember the game against Spurs, the performances against Chelsea, and then the win against Barcelona. Even not at their best, they got the win against Lyon. And as we hear that incredible theme music for the Champions League, and both sets of players make their way out into the stadium, it's time to reflect on this Bayern side, who have been at top form mostly throughout this competition, haven't they?
They've been absolutely extraordinary. The confidence, the belief they have in each other. I like Leon Goretzka in the middle of the park. I said in the last couple of games I've seen him play, he's like the Incredible Hulk. He is. He has everything. Superb power. He's tenacious. Great passing ability. He'll get in the box. And I just wonder, we talk about the forward lines, but whether that PSG midfield can cope with the intensity of Bayern Munich's midfield.
Let's find out which way this one goes then. It's Paris Saint-Germain looking for their first ever Champions League or European Cup. Bayern Munich, 5-time winners, European aristocracy. Can they make it 6? Let's find out with your Salford-based commentary team of Chris Waddle, Chris Sutton, and our football correspondent, John Murray.
Yes, thank you very much, Kelly. Yes, based in the studio for this Champions League final. We would never have believed that when we brought you our first European commentary this season, when we were in Istanbul for the UEFA Super Cup. We're inside the Besiktas Stadium. We never would have believed that it would end like this. Commentary from inside the BBC Strictly Come Dancing meeting room. But do bear with us. We are at the mercy of the television pictures. But if you're on a long drive tonight, then settle down with us. We've got 2 men who've played many matches in this competition, both played in European finals, Chris Waddle and Chris Sutton for the commentary. And this is it, down in Lisbon on what looks like a beautiful evening, blue sky above the Estadio de Luz. They are all set for the 65th final of either the European Cup or the Champions League. It was supposed to be in Istanbul on the 30th of May. Instead, they're in Lisbon on the 23rd of August. The teams walked out either side of that great trophy. It had red and white ribbons on one big ear. It had red and blue on the other. And tonight, either there will be a new winner of it in Paris Saint-Germain, or Bayern Munich, one of the most successful clubs in the competition's history, will have their name engraved on it for a 6th time. Just about set for kick-off. These are the teams, in case you haven't heard. Paris Saint-Germain, Keylor Navas is fit, he's in goal. Kehrer, Thiago Silva, Kimpembe and Bernat, Herrera, Marquinhos and Paredes, Di Maria, Neymar and Mbappe. And Bayern Munich with Neuer in goal, Kimmich, Boateng, Alaba and Davis, Thiago and Goretzka, Gnabry, Müller, Coman and Lewandowski. The referee is an Italian, Daniele Orsato, the 44-year-old. It's his first major UEFA final, although he's been on the FIFA list for 10 years now. But he's in the middle, yellow shirt, and the teams kick off this Champions League final in 2020 behind closed doors. Bayern Munich in the red kit with the white trim, and Paris Saint-Germain in the all dark blue with the red and white trim, the distinctive stripes up the front of the kit Neuer playing the ball out from the back, and it's couldn't be kept in by Kimmich, so it's a throw-in to Paris Saint-Germain down the left-hand side. Yep, the Champions League behind closed doors. So there will be, for this match, an official attendance of 0. Throw-in that is taken by Bernat for Paris Saint-Germain, the former Bayern Munich man. But Paris Saint-Germain lose possession. The ball's played downfield for Lewandowski to chase. Thiago Silva is there, playing it back across the area. Keylor Navas gets his first touch. Paris trying to play the ball from inside the defensive third, but this is some great pressing from Bayern Munich. And now Goretzka just outside the box after Gnabry won it back. Goretzka then over, hits the ball for Muller down the right, and it just rolls through for a goal kick. So it is Paris Saint-Germain against Bayern Munich. We're in the second minute of this Champions League final. This is 5 Live Sport, and I'm pleased to say as well, we're joined by all of the listeners to the BBC's World Service 2. So welcome to you for our commentary on this great spectacle that promises so much. Chris Sutton and Chris Waddle are with us, and Davis is shoved over, and it's a free kick to Bayern on the left. Chris Waddle.
Yeah, as we expected, Bayern come out of the blocks very quick. They're pressing Paris already. It needs to settle down. It'll take 10 or 15 minutes. But seeing that the other side, when Bayern went back to Neuer, Paris pressed as well. So, but Bayern do it week in, week out. So good start for Bayern.
Chris Waddle, who played in the final of this great competition back in 1991 for Marseille. Free kick for Bayern on the left-hand side. It's going to be swung in right-footed. And Keylor Navas, loud instructions, we can hear them. Kimmich swings the ball in, and it's headed away at the near post harmlessly for a throw-in for Bayern. Paredes got his head to that, the PSG number 8, the Argentine international. So it's a throw-in 10 yards back from the corner flag that Alphonso Davies is going to take. What a great story he is. 19 years old, playing in the Champions League final, having been born in a refugee camp in Ghana to Liberian parents and growing up in Canada. Great story, really inspiring stuff. And Davies, 19 years old, 19 on his back, takes the throw, and Bayern move back towards the halfway line. Alaba and Boateng is fit. There was a doubt over him, but he's fit to continue in the side. So the only change for Bayern, the fact that Perisic is on the bench and Koeman is coming in. So 0-0, very early stages, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, I suppose the question for Hansi Flick and Bayern Munich is how fit is Jerome Boateng. Sula hasn't played a lot of football, so there's always an element of risk, especially with the attacking line PSG have. But this is such a difficult one to call, isn't it? I think anything is possible this evening, any result.
I just think, though, John, Bayern do it week in, week out, this pressing, high pressing tempo game, and get normally 3 or 4 up, so then they can dictate the pace of the game. Paris don't do that. So for Paris to up the tempo a lot, how long can they do it for? Because they don't normally play like that.
Big night for this man in possession, Thiago Silva, a great servant for modern Paris Saint-Germain. And he's out of contract after this match. The captain, 35 years old.
Heavily linked with Chelsea, John.
Yes.
I see.
So here, 35 years old. Mind you, great experience that he's got. Back with Keylor Navas, won the Champions League those 3 years running, played in all 3 matches. Paris Saint-Germain caught in possession. Kehra loses it, but PSG are able to get it away on the edge of their own penalty area. Goretzka brilliantly wins the ball and keeps it for Bayern Munich. A turn on the left-hand side from Kingsley Coman, the challenge in on him, and it's out of play for another throw to Bayern down the left. Good tempo, good pace. As I've said, we're hearing it's a very warm evening, 25 degrees, 53% humidity in Lisbon tonight. As Bayern blocked the clearance downfield, Thiago got in the way of that, and it's bounced out to Davies, Alphonso Davies, looking to his left. Koeman is there. Koeman then knocks it infield. Here is the tall, imposing Goretzka, and Bayern playing from right to left on our pictures. Work it forward towards Gnabry. 2 goals in the semi-final, but then the challenge comes in on him from Mbappe, incidentally, which touches it back to goalkeeper Keylor Navas. Bayern Munich starting strongly here. Ball over the top of Muller. That's headed away by Kehra. Thilo Kehra, the German right back in the French side, And then Thiago has a go from 30 yards, but was off balance. He was twisting, and he hit it well wide and high and behind onto that Euro Champions League final canvassing over the seats inside the Estadio de Luz.
Paris will be a little bit nervous because, you know, it's a massive game for Paris. Bayern have got so much confidence, used to being at these occasions. And Paris at the minute are struggling to find the tempo what Bayern are playing at. It's not, for me, Bayern have got, Paris have got 4 or 5 players who could probably up the tempo a lot. But when you're asking Neymar to go and close people down constantly, he can't do that. It's not his game.
Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. This is BBC Radio Sport on 5 Live and the World Service. Yes, Paris Saint-Germain conceding a free kick halfway inside the Bayern half. Paris Saint-Germain, the French champions, Bayern, the German champions, with PSG appearing in this final for the first time. Little word against Angel Di Maria, and referee Orsato just I think underlining his authority against Angel Di Maria, who has a little shake of the head. And Bayern can bring it forward from the back. Long, high ball from Boateng, looking for Coleman. He's beaten to it by Kehrer. The ball bounces for Thomas Müller. And the ball is blocked out by Ander Herrera, who won the Europa League with Manchester United 3 years ago. He's gone on to bigger and better things with Paris Saint-Germain. Thiago clipping the ball forward. Headed down, Müller lifts it out towards the right-hand side. Kimmich is there, pushing forward as ever. Goretzka gives it back to Kimmich. And now Kimmich just knocks it from foot to foot, uses Thiago, Gnabry, back to Kimmich. This is all on the Bayern right. Kimmich pulling it back onto his left foot. Bernat put in the challenge, and it's out of play for what is given as a PSG throw.
Such a versatile player, isn't he, Joshua Kimmich? Swiss Army knife. Horst Rubesch called him, can play so many positions and play them all well. Spoke before the game, he expected to start in that right-back role with Benjamin Pavard, John, or however you want to pronounce his name, available again. Just wonder, that could be another one of those key matchups. Mbappe on that side. Does Kimmich have the legs? He has the brain, but does he have the legs to keep with Mbappe?
We'll deal with that when he comes on, Chris. Here's Thiago playing it to the right-hand side, and then Kimmich goes back to Boateng, who had to turn quickly. Neymar was putting him under pressure, so instantly returned it to Neuer, who, needless to say, was right on the edge of his penalty area. Pass a little short to Goretzka there, and that's forced a mistake. Now Mbappe running first at Thiago, who caught him, and it's a free kick. Well, there's the first time we've seen Mbappe fouled by Thiago.
Yeah, and it'll not be the last, but you've got to look at these set pieces as well. They look very threatening every time they got one, and the games I've watched them, and they've got so many players who've got that delivery on them, so it's a dangerous position, and Bayern do like to hold a high line.
So a free kick to PSG. This is on their left. 8 minutes on the clock. Mbappe, who has had an injury but was fit enough to start the semi-final against RB Leipzig. Mbappe, the PSG top scorer with 30 goals this season. Neymar is over the ball. He might tap it short. Neuer is watching as he does tap it short. It's played into the arrow. Davis was arriving back into his 6-yard box, got a back header on it, and the ball rolls out of play. It's allowed to roll out of play for a throw by Herrera. So a throw to PSG on the right-hand side. Still 0-0, relatively early stages. Almost 10 minutes played though, and neither goalkeeper has had to make a save yet. So Kehrer will take this, the German international, in the PSG side. Plays it back towards Neymar. A little bit of sharp footwork from him past Coleman. And now Kehrer again down the right. His ball into the middle is headed wide of goal on the edge of his 6-yard box by the Austrian Alaba.
Davies is down, injured on the floor as he made the challenge, attempted to stop the cross from Kehrer. He worked it well, PSG. And that right-hand side. Good ball in. Boateng. Right place, right time, level with the near post. Heads it behind. Takes no chances.
Incidentally, his girlfriend, Davis's girlfriend, is still in the Women's Champions League. She plays for Paris Saint-Germain. Here, the corner is taken short, played into the back post. Thiago Silva is after it, but it's headed away by Boateng, who got it well, actually, against the threat of Thiago Silva. And Bayern are able to clear it into the PSG half. Now here's Mbappe, who takes possession. just moves onto his right foot now, back onto his left, puts his foot on the ball. They've got 3 men on him, Bayern, and PSG go back into their own half. And all the way back to Thiago Silva with his bright yellow captain's armband on, a long ball forward from him, which is actually touched out of play by Davis for a throw to PSG.
That was a good bit of play by Paris, and that's what they've got to do, take the sting out the tempo which Bayern Munich are trying to play at. By this pressing game, you've got to be confident, you've got to have a lot of options, you've got to keep moving that ball.
0-0, throw-in to be taken by Kehrer, and flick from Herrera. But Davis has got the ball at his feet, turns. He was under pressure from 2 men in blue, so he gave the ball back to the goalkeeper, Neuer, long downfield. Manuel Neuer, one of 4 players in this Bayern Munich starting lineup who were in the team last time Bayern won the Champions League back in 2013 in that memorable all-German final at Wembley. And I think is there a little bit of an issue with the ball? The Champions League ball, of all things.
Yeah, it's round.
I think it might not be. I think they might have just switched it. It might not have been as round as it should be. Ball played forward for Bayern on the right. Gnabry is after this, but PSG have got it back. And here's Kimpembe, who's rolling it forward towards Ander Herrera, who's tackled by Thiago. And now it's forward to Coman, runs at the edge of the penalty area, but then it just bounces away from him as the players in blue converge, and it runs through to Keylor Navas.
So there's that high press again from Bayern Munich, winning the ball back. It's just been that final pass on a couple of occasions when they've nicked the ball off Paris in their own half. Just haven't been able to make that final ball.
They're a tremendously effective pair in there, aren't they, Thiago and Goretzka?
Yeah, very good.
They both started well.
It's hard to find a weakness. I mean, most people say it's, the weakness is probably the back 4, but the 2 centre-halves at times get exposed because of the way they play. So, every team's got a weakness, but I think, as Bayern say, they're very confident when they go out. They don't. So far, they haven't worried about. They've played their game. They've not worried about Neymar or Mbappe.
Quite a lot of talk about Thiago possibly moving to the Premier League. He did join Bayern Munich from Barcelona when Pep Guardiola had moved to Bayern Munich. Bernat with the throw for PSG. Deep inside the Paris half. Here's Paredes, been put under pressure, so he plays a cross-field ball. And there is space there for Kehrer to bring it forward. The PSG right back, who then finds Coman in front of him, so goes back into central defence. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. Now a ball down the left-hand side from Mbappe, and he's onto it, and he's into the penalty area. Kimmich is beaten by the little ball down to the left-hand side. Bernat with a cross, deflects to Mbappe. His shot is blocked at source by Goretzka, who was perfectly positioned. And then that's a heavy challenge from Bernat, and it's a free kick to Bayern in their own right-back area.
Yeah, he looks such a threat, though, doesn't he? Mbappe, when he's facing up Kimmich, as he did, one thought in his mind, drive at the defender, clever little back heel, came to nothing. It's a good block, in fact, from Goretzka, side foot effort from Mbappe, 15 yards out. You see Bayern really watchful. They know the threat. It's can they deal with that threat of Mbappe?
Did you see when the players came out, when they first saw each other, the 2 sets of players, once they'd got changed for the warm-ups, and Kylian Mbappe, he was extremely warmly greeted by Kingsley Coman, one of his French international teammates. Lucas Hernandez was all over him as well. I mean, players will do that, but I think there was a genuine feeling to that. He is a very popular young man, Kylian Mbappe, and what a talent. And now Paredes plays the ball to Mbappe inside the penalty area, shoots, but just perhaps dwelt on it a moment too long. And Kimmich and Boateng were able to clear that inside the box, and then Alaba, big left foot on that to the halfway line. But Mbappe very nearly onto that ball from Paredes.
Paredes, what a ball, by the way. If he meant it, that was an unbelievable pass. He's come onto it, he's volleyed it with so much pace. But Bayern, what they're going to do is they're going to get people around Mbappe and Neymar when they get the ball. There's going to be 2-3 red shirts, because they're quite happy to say, you give it to somebody else.
Just got a first view there of Thomas Tuchel, who is a Bavarian, incidentally, against Bayern Munich. the PSG coach, who's got his broken foot, hasn't he? So he's got his grey plastic boot on, and he's sitting there on the cool box on the edge of the coaching area for PSG, the former Borussia Dortmund coach. Coman playing it forward for Bayern Munich towards the corner of the box. Muller can't get there. Thiago Silva is left on the ground, and Keylor Navas back in the team only 11 days after pulling up with a hamstring injury in the quarter-final against Atalanta. But Bayern have it back inside their own half, and Neuer yet again 10 yards outside of his penalty area with a little ball to Alaba.
Do you call it a cool box, John, or a bucket?
A cool box, I think that is, Chris. I think it is. I think it's a genuine cool box. You think it's a bucket? Here's Davis playing it forward to Coman near the corner of the box. Davis on the run, but he won't reach that. Slides after it and clatters into the ever-changing advertising hoardings with their Champions League partners' names flashing up on them. Goal kick to PSG, 0-0.
Not even Davies could catch that with his real pace down the left-hand side. Poorly weighted pass from Kingsley Coman.
I think waiting for the players to settle down a bit. There's a lot of energy going around, the game plan, get the ball back, but players are forgetting when they get the ball, enjoy it. At the minute, they're all working really hard for each other off the ball, but when you get it, enjoy it.
I think that's the free kick has gone. Thiago isn't very happy about this. He ran off the field, he put in the challenge, and Kehrer went down, but it is a free kick. Free kick near the halfway line. 0-0 the score. Already 17 minutes played.
Yeah, I don't know what he's complaining at, Thiago. Kehrer got his body in, drew the foul.
Free kick is absolutely wasted. Just hit all the way through to Neuer, who's able to take that. No trouble at all. Not seen a great deal of Di Maria yet. Mainly PSG have been looking down the other side to Mbappe. Bayern lose it centre field. Herrera. Now a pass forward from Paredes to Mbappe again. Mbappe into the box to Neymar from the angle, shoots, saved by Neuer, kept in by Neymar, who pulled it back, but Di Maria couldn't get there, and it was blocked behind. First save of the final, and a good one from Neuer.
Yeah, big save from the big German goalkeeper. Haven't seen much of Neymar. Left-hand side of the box. Actually looks like it's going to sneak through Neuer's legs. In fact, hits his left calf and bounces out again. Neymar can't get the cross in, and is smuggled away for a corner to PSG.
Very nearly past him.
I don't think he could do anything more. He hit the target, that's it. It's a good save at the end of the day.
Very, very good save with a little bit of fortune. Here's the corner from Di Maria, who's looking for Marquinhos, who's a real danger, of course. Ball cleared. Herrera back towards the left-hand side. Di Maria running it. Lewandowski down in his own right back area, and he does very well winning it back and playing it forward, and then Paredes headed it. I think it was out of play before Neymar was challenged by Lewandowski. Neymar's waving his arms around, but it's Bayern's ball. They take the throw in quickly. Here is Davis on the left-hand side. Almost 20 minutes played. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. First big chance of the game to Neymar. Shot from the left side of the penalty area. It was a real opening, and Neuer spread himself, and actually I think initially blocked it with his hand, which was a trailing hand, and it bounced up and was blocked by the rest of his body. Here's Davis. Plays it in field towards Thiago for Bayern, and then to Goretzka. Looks up, rolls the ball to the right-hand side. Gnabry, his pass through to Kimmich, he won't reach that. Just slightly overhit by Gnabry and through for a goal kick.
Shouldn't be missing those passes, though. It's a couple of times Bayern Munich in the final third just overweighted the opportunities. Just wonder with that Neymar chance, had that fallen on the other side, if Butts maybe on his stronger right foot, would he have buried that? It's a good save from Neuer.
I think he knows where the goal is, doesn't he? He never looks, does he? He knows where the goal is, and his left foot. I don't think you could do any more with it. It's a good save.
Who's edging it at the moment, Chris?
I think Paris have had the best chance. I don't think we've seen the best of Bayern yet. I think they've overhit, as Chris has just said, they've hit so many over passes too far, too hard, too long. I don't think Bayern's settled yet. I think Paris look very confident.
Chris Waddle, former Marseille man, the only other French club that have won the Champions League. Ball in from the right-hand side for Bayern from Gnabry. That's cleared away. Bernat actually rode a couple of challenges, and then free kick won by Herrera. In fact, I think he's given it for one of the challenges on Bernat. It's a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain, halfway inside their own half. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. Yeah, PSG, the 41st different club to appear in a European Cup or Champions League final. Just seeing another replay, and actually the second block of the Neymar chance, when Neymar tried to pull it back, that was blocked by Neuer behind as well.
It's a big save. I just wondered, seeing it from that angle, whether there was a space on the far side of the goal where he could have passed it into the far corner. Chris, I don't know what you...
I think he just comes onto it and he thinks that I'm not looking, I know where the goal is, and he's just hit it. He's probably aimed for it, to be honest. I don't think he's had the best contact on it. I think he scuffed it slightly. And give Neuer credit, made himself big.
He's not been able to get into the game with his flicks and tricks just yet. Bayern coming forward, Lewandowski on the turn, shoots, hits the post, it bounces out and is cleared away to safety. Lewandowski, that's Lewandowski all over.
Well, that's all he needs, half a chance. He actually pulls the shot into the floor. Clever turn, 14 yards out, and it bounces a couple of times and comes back of Keylor Navas, right hand post. Really unlucky from Bayern Munich. It's just a ball whipped in from the left hand side. Initially you thought no danger, made the most of that opportunity.
I think sometimes, John, you think should score, not there. No, that was just great how he did that.
Brilliant. Yeah, ball in for Bayern, but it's just beyond Koeman and bounces away through for a goal kick. So there we are. They've both had a shot across the bows now. Neymar with his chance that was saved by Neuer, and that shot on the turn, scrambling Navas down to his right, hit the face of the post and bounced out. Lewandowski, who scored in all 9 of his Champions League appearances this season. Bayern have won all 10 matches in the competition. Nobody's ever won every game they've played in the Champions League before. That's what they're trying to do, amongst many other things tonight. But Lewandowski, 15 goals in those 9 Champions League appearances this season. Goal kick taken short by PSG. Thiago plays it across to Kimpembe. Clearance comes back to Kimpembe on the edge of the box. Turn and clearance by Paredes. Then Herrera with a touch. Now Neymar gets it down. Mbappe running ahead of him. Still Neymar carrying it to the edge of the area. Gives it to Di Maria. Closed down quickly. Herrera back to Di Maria. Di Maria shoots over the bar. From an angle, 10 yards out.
Oh, how slick was that from PSG. Neymar into Di Maria. Shut down. Clever reverse ball from Herrera into Di Maria's path, and that's a golden opportunity on his weaker right foot. Balloons the ball over the bar. I think he should be scoring from that chance. Clear-cut opportunity, head in hand from Thomas Tuchel, the PSG manager. He knows they have to take these chances.
It's warming up, Chris Waddle.
It is. I mean, what a great play Neymar there running, and this is that's what they're aiming for. You know, take the ball off Bayern when Bayern's on the attack, trying to push Paris back. They intercept it, they hit you quickly on the break, which they did there. And as Chris said, Di Maria, it's on his weak foot. He hasn't really got a right foot, let's be honest. He is 99% left-footed. He's just swung at it, hasn't he? And he's playing on the right-hand side. If he was on the left-hand side, you'd fancy him to score, wouldn't you?
Boateng's got a problem. Came into this game carrying an injury. He was beaten on the halfway line, was racing back. He's gone down injured, and this could be a problem.
Yep, a risk, of course, playing him this evening. He's come off in the last 2 games. He's had a muscle injury, and that really doesn't look good. Sula already stripped, ready to come on. This is a worry because he hasn't played enough football in recent times. I think against Chelsea he came on, and that was his first game since the previous October. So how fit is he going to be? And it's not the sort of game you can come on and ease yourself in against this PSG front line.
Well, the only thing is that he has had action in the mini tournament, as you say, Chris. Boateng's had the injury. In the quarter finally came off with 15 minutes to go. In the semi-final he came off at half-time. And in the final tonight, 25 minutes, and he can't continue. So Sula is on into the action.
Yeah, listen, it's difficult to come on when he looks at he's got Mbappe and Neymar ahead of him too. But he'd been watching, and you know, if you play, you want to get on the field. Champions League final, you want to be playing. So I'm sure he'll be okay. But I'm just looking at Bayern. They haven't settled at all going forward. Everything's 100 miles. We know they like to press, but normally when they get possession, when winning the ball back, they're really confident on it. They don't look very confident in possession tonight.
So is that that's a bit of a worry for you, is it?
Well, yeah, because they're not putting 3-4 passes together.
I suppose it could be a worry for PSG as well, that the fact they haven't got started yet and they've had those couple of opportunities, haven't taken them. This has happened in previous games with Bayern Munich, where likes of Lyon had chances against them.
Well, I don't think anyone's expecting a 0-0 draw from this match tonight, but it is 0-0 with almost half an hour played.
I think it was 22-1 the 0-0.
Was it? 22-1. One team scored 136 goals this season, Paris Saint-Germain. Bayern Munich have scored 158 in all competitions, so that's probably why. However, it is 0-0, but important save from Neuer. Lewandowski hits the post. Di Maria. That was a lovely interchange by PSG that led to Di Maria's shot. The little ball from Herrera was lovely through to Di Maria. He just lifted it over into the empty stands. Di Maria used to play here, remember, at this stadium, the Benfica ground, former Benfica player. It's where we first saw him in European football. PSG playing the ball for Kera down the right-hand side for the French champions, and Davis tangling with Kera. I think he has fouled him. Yeah, free kick's been given. The Italian assistant, I think, flagged for it, and across runs referee Osato, and he's got a yellow card out for Davis.
Well, Davis is, we know he's super quick. I think he's trying to give the lad Kera a couple of yard start, and he's got the legs on. It's a good race, to be fair. But he didn't want to get a yellow card this early in the game.
That's a couple of blows now for Bayern Munich in the space of just a few seconds. First they lose Boateng, now Davis is yellow carded.
Yeah, just seeing this again is a little bit unfortunate, because Davies does get back. He just slips a little bit. Kera pops the ball on the inside, and Davies does bring him down. Now, of course, under pressure on the yellow.
Definite yellow card?
I wouldn't give a yellow for that personally, but
free kick.
Harsh.
Yellow card it is, though, first of the final. 0-0 the score, 5 live under world service. So free kick, short, it's like a short corner, just a one-man wall. Ball going to be played across by either Neymar or Di Maria. Di Maria standing off the pitch at the moment. And up comes Neymar, plays it into the near post. That is headed away by Gnabry. Shot from Herrera. I think it took a deflection as it went wide. There was certainly a sound there, and it must have been off his own man, because it's a goal kick that's been given.
It wasn't the best free kick. I think Gnabry headed the ball out, and he's hit that into the floor. Actually, I think it comes off Goretzka in the end, so a poor decision on the officials. An important block it was, on target that.
Yep, should have been a corner. It's given as a goal kick. And Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0 is the score. There'll be more on whatever happens here on the Football Daily podcast in the morning. Di Maria playing the ball into the area, but Neymar had his arms up. Free kick for handball. So you'll get that, the podcast as usual from BBC Sounds in the morning. This is 5 Live in the World Service, and you can also listen as well via the BBC Sport website and app this evening as well. 0-0.
You've got to give Paris credit, yeah, John. They're really working hard. I don't know how long they can keep it up. It's very difficult pressing and Bayern have not got started for me.
Bayern moving towards the halfway line with the right back, Kimmich. Now Gnabry on the right-hand side, just beginning to cut in. Again, Kimmich makes that familiar run down the line, but Gnabry's overrun it in the middle. The ball's cleared away low, rolling out of play by Marquinhos for a throw-in to Bayern down the right. Zula, Nicolas Zula, big hulking figure as well. And then the pass from centre field is beyond Kimmich, and it's a throw-in to PSG in their own left-back area. Almost exactly half an hour played now, and it is 0-0. Test match special will be back on in the morning as well for the 4th day's play. Pakistan will be following on. They were all out for 273 in their first innings, and We'll have more on that at half-time in the final, with Thiago bringing it forward for Bayern Munich, playing it square. Coman just outside the box onto his right foot, deflected to Lewandowski, left side of the penalty area. Lewandowski just backing away out of the box and driving it goalwards. Blocked by Kehrer on the edge of the area, out to Coman again. Coman into the box. It showed too much of it to Kehrer, who was able to put in the challenge. And PSG will pass it away from inside their own defensive third. Neymar dummied the ball to no one, apart from Thiago at Bayern Munich. So the Germans have got it back. Thiago to the right-hand side. And now Muller playing the ball in. It's headed away. Lewandowski with a chance with a header. But Navas was well placed on the line to parry it up and then race out to gather it.
And that's the threat that Bayern Munich have, isn't it? Not really been at the races. It was actually a poor header from Kimpembe. Flicks the ball and Lewandowski, reactionary from 4 yards. And that's a reflex save. Good save from Keylor Navas. Just pops the ball back up in the air and the chance gone for Bayern Munich. But they have that threat. Lewandowski, such a good player.
From the Muller cross.
Yeah, it's a great header because it's flicked on. It's not like it's come onto his head. He's had to adjust himself, and very, very quickly he's had to as well, to get a header on target. It's actually behind him. He's actually had to lean back and head it towards the goal.
Yeah, I think anything in front of him from that range, he buries that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The fact that it's behind him, he's just getting enough on that to guide it.
Remarkable, really, there to get as good an effort as it was, leaning back in between Thiago Silva and Kehrer, and yet still forces Keylor Navas to make the save.
Yeah, giraffe-like neck to get that on target.
Thought you were going to say what giraffe was in German there for a moment, but no. PSG play it forward. This is too far ahead of even Mbappe to race onto that. So 32 minutes played, and it's still PSG 0, Bayern 0. He has a long one for Coman to chase down the left-hand side. Runs away from Kehrer, is able to keep it in against the right back onto his left foot. His cross, headed away by Thiago Silva. Lewandowski was after it on the edge of the box, but PSG have been able to smuggle it away from him and clear it out of play on the halfway line.
Coman, he's great bit of play back to catch it first, then to nutmeg the Kehrer, and then cross, unfortunately, the final ball against letting Bayern down.
Bayern with Davis and Coman combining again, but it's rather pedestrian at the moment as they come forward in this particular move. But I make that two big chances apiece now for Neymar and Di Maria for PSG, and the two for Bayern, Lewandowski, although he did so much to make the second one himself.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know the German for giraffe, John. It's Die Giraffe.
Die Giraffe.
Yeah.
Die Giraffe, I would imagine that would be. Yes. Yeah, should have got that, really, shouldn't we?
Surprised.
Mind you, I might have struggled to know whether it was Die, Der or Das. Giraffe.
That was like a rapper, didn't it?
Die Giraffe. Here is Bayern with it. Long ball forward for Gnabry to chase, but stretching forward, he won't reach that. They've been attempting that, haven't they? That long ball again.
Yeah, but normally we're used to seeing them ball into feet, runners ball into their feet on the run. They've overhit so many passes tonight.
They have. So it's still 0-0. PSG with the ball inside the penalty area. Kimpembe, never forget that handball against Manchester United in the second leg in the Parc des Princes last season, which ended with Paris Saint going out again at the last 16, third year running, went out at the quarterfinals for 4 consecutive years before that. So this is the first time they've gone beyond the quarterfinals since the Qatari investment of 2011. And they've always said, I've said it many times, the Qatari owners made it very clear that they would hunt the Champions League with no limits. Now here they are in the final, and 0-0 with the great Bayern Munich, with Zula, who hits a high pass out towards Lewandowski, who's on the left wing for the time being. Lewandowski. Davis now to Coman. Coman running at the PSG defence onto his right foot near the corner of the box, curls it in, but beyond Lewandowski and through to Keylor Navas. Make the catch.
Yeah, he looks a danger, doesn't he, Coman? Chops back in, right-footed cross. PSG working so hard, though, doubling up, making it difficult, narrowing up, saying, OK, you can cross balls in, but that has its danger with Bayern Munich, because we know they have decent aerial presence with Lewandowski.
Just want to coming off the pace, Chris. Just they've played 35 minutes, and Paris not used to pressing teams like they've tried to press like Bayern. And just look, the last 4 or 5 minutes, Bayern Munich have had a lot of possession, they've wasted a lot of it. But all of a sudden, I'm not seeing Paris in the other half for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, PSG just hassled into conceding a throw-in. And
has that not been the difference, though, with PSG this year? That the whole team is working. Neymar's tracking back. Di Maria, we've seen him work hard this evening. Mbappe, in other seasons, you could argue that they've been prima donnas.
Yeah, I think they've had to add it to the game, but I just don't see them doing it for long periods of the game. They like to get the breather, be fresh when the ball comes, so they can do something. And yes, for the first 20 minutes I think they did, but I think you're not really saw Mbappe or Neymar in the last 10 minutes.
Still 0-0. PSG winning a free kick in their own half. Herrera's given it away. He's given it straight away to Lewandowski, who was tugged back by Marquinhos, and Bayern have a free kick. Marquinhos is protesting about this, but just a little careless from PSG again. Herrera this time with the pass, and so it is a free kick. Just there was enough in it. Lewandowski knew, felt the touch. I don't think he wasn't yellow carded.
He had the yellow card in his hand, didn't he?
We'll see in a moment. Just waiting for the pictures to see if that would confirm whether it was a yellow card for Marquinhos. However, it is a free kick, left of centre. This will be 30 yards out, maybe not quite that, so a good position. Free kick for Bayern Munich. Kimmich is over it, so it looks as though he's going to curl it in. Lewandowski standing just beyond the PSG defensive line. So Kimmich raises an arm and then curls it in towards the head of Goretzka. It was nodded away, and then Gnabry with a touch which carries it all the way through for a goal kick, and it's come to nothing.
Here's an important defensive header. Goretzka up. Marquinhos matching him, wins the header. He's such an important player, isn't he? Marquinhos just in front of that back line, snuffing out danger. I wonder whether he was carded. I thought he should have been yellow carded for that.
Producer Gary's shaking his head, so it looks as though he's in the clear. Marquinhos, just the one yellow card so far. Alphonso Davies.
It's a bit of a clothesline, that move from him, an old-fashioned wrestling move, John. I don't know whether you're familiar with that.
Yeah, well, I have to say I do remember the wrestling, as both of you will on a Saturday afternoon. Here is Davis winning a free kick, which Herrera's furious about, but he did have his hands on him, and it's a free kick to Bayern Munich halfway inside the German half. 0-0 the score. Lewandowski felt the touch from that Marquinhos free kick. Maybe there wasn't quite enough in it from the foul to be merited as a yellow card. Here's Gnabry, set away down the right-hand side into the full-back position, but across comes Bernat. He's got his foot to it. He claims he didn't, but he did. And it's a corner now to Bayern Munich, who are just cranking up the pressure.
Yeah, the last 5-10 minutes, well, 10 minutes for me, they've had control of the ball, all right. They've not used it as well. Gnabry, he wants to take them tennis rackets off his feet. He's even got his boots on tonight. He's overhit every pass, every one.
Corner then from the right for Bayern. 4 men near the penalty spot. Müller and Gnabry on the edge of the 6-yard area. Keep an eye out for Lewandowski. Here it is, but Kimpembe gets up at the near post and heads it away from the Kimmich corner. Throw in 12-13 yards back from the corner flag. Still 0-0 in the 2020 Champions League final down in Lisbon on what is clearly a very warm evening in that fantastic stadium, the Estadio de Luz, the home of Benfica, which has hosted the final. I remember back in 2014, brilliant occasion, the first of the recent All Madrid finals, and before that, the other European Cup final at Lisbon, hosted, I won't need to tell you which one that was, Chris Sutton, when the famous Lisbon Lions won the competition for Celtic. Kimmich nudged over down the right by Mbappe. Bayern take the free kick back into the centre circle. Alaba carrying it forward, has a little look up, turns, gives it to Davis on the left-hand side. Arms go up in the middle. Here's the cross in, which is headed away, and there by Bernat, who did tremendously well, and then nodded further away by Marquinhos. Dangerous ball in.
That was some ball in. It was well defended in the end. Bernat, diminutive figure, gets up well and just wins, flicks the ball. Lewandowski behind him can't get a clear header as Mbappe's fouled. Terrific ball in from the left-hand side.
Little Bernat did very well though, didn't he, getting up? Actually just deflected it onto Lewandowski's head. Bernat, who had 4 years at Bayern Munich, but had no luck at all with injuries. 11 different injuries Bernat had during those 4 years as a Bayern Munich player. And here he is against them in the Champions League final for PSG. 0-0 the score, half-time approaching. Still waiting for the opening goal. Neymar in the centre circle, a little drop of the shoulder, a little shimmy, takes it on, gives it to Di Maria, edge of the box. Di Maria pulls it back onto his left foot. The challenge comes in on him from Gnabry, and then it's just touched away from Herrera on the edge of the box. And Goretzka now brings it away for Bayern Munich. Out to the right-hand side. The ball called forward. Goretzka gets a touch on that. Lewandowski herring after it. The ball had spin on it, so it actually held up on the surface of the pitch. Then the cross from Lewandowski, but the recovering Marquinhos was there for PSG to clear it away out of play near the corner flag. I'm not sure whether it's a throw or a corner.
Yeah, an old-fashioned midfielder, Goretzka, box to box. Pokes the ball through to Lewandowski on the right-hand side. Decent ball in, but Marquinhos spoke about his importance for PSG, getting back and clearing the ball. It is a corner for Bayern Munich.
A corner it is for Bayern. I think this is their second, 2 each. Kimmich to take this. High outswinger looking for Lewandowski, but Marquinhos is watching Bayern's number 9 over both of them. Comes to Davis. Davis's cross hits the back of Di Maria, deflected away to the halfway line. Alaba has Neymar running at him, but knows instinctively the Bayern captain and goalkeeper Manuel Neuer would be there, halfway inside the half behind him. Thiago in danger of being caught in possession, but so economical. He sensed the danger and just touched it back to Zula. And Bayern, with half-time, just 2 minutes plus added time away, still we await the opening goal. But Muller carrying the ball from just inside his own half, then gives it to Davis. Davis's ball across. Thiago Silva just quickly readjusts and clears it away with his right instep. Bayern keep it in though. Alaba.
Haven't seen much of Thomas Muller at all, have we? Around Deuter. Hasn't found a lot of space this evening.
Der Raumdeuter, is it? I think it probably is. Here's Thiago, square to Goretzka, and then across to Davis. Yes, the Raumdeuter, the space investigator, as the translation tells us. Ball played forward into the penalty area for Muller, and Kimpembe went with him, and even though Muller throws the ball away towards the corner flag, I think that's been given as a PSG
Well,
goal.
I'd say Bayern for the last 15 minutes have been a better side. Paris always quite carry that threat with Neymar and Mbappe picking it up, but Bayern have been wasteful on the ball. They've been in great areas. They just can't seem to relax and execute that final ball, but Bayern have gradually got on top.
Kimpembe cutting the ball back from Lewandowski. That was dangerous.
He's got lucky
he's
there.
fortunate to win a free kick. Muller says there was not a foul there, but referee Osato says free kick PSG.
I really think the referee's been kind to Kimpembe there. Chops inside Thomas Muller, and there is an initial foul, but once the referee waves the advantage, he's in control of the ball, and it's a sloppy pass. Gets very, very lucky.
PSG strike it away downfield. Here's Di Maria. Di Maria against Davis, gets his head right down, and then Davis puts in the challenge. Di Maria throws himself down, arms apart, claiming for the free kick. Oh, it's given away by Alaba. This could be dangerous. Mbappe, Herrera, back to Mbappe. Oh, weak shot, straight at Neuer, who was able to gather it up.
not get that chance in that this evening. What an opportunity just before half time to take the lead as well. How sloppy was that?
I'm trying to remember who I said gave it away.
In Alaba, I think.
Yes, it was Alaba. Here is Coman. Coman just outside the area. Chips it right across the box. Gnabry gets it down. Landed on his right shoulder. Gnabry then takes on Bernat. Tries it across, but Keylor Navas goes down and claws it into his gloves. And is able to collect it and give it out quickly. And then a ball over the top from Mbappe to chase. But Neuer is there. Inevitably halfway inside the half. And is comfortably there ahead of Mbappe.
Well, there's your sweeper keeper. At one end to the other.
End-to-end stuff at the end of this first half. We're into added time, only 1 minute, and we're into that. Oh, and now Kehrer with a challenge on Coman. He seemed to have his hand on his shoulder. Coman went sprawling down as he raced towards the dead ball line. The players have run towards the Italian referee, who has said, well, he said no penalty. I can see that much.
Well, they'll surely be checking this. Too much pace he has, Coman. I think he goes down too easily, though.
It is, but I think if he checks it, he should get it, because there's an arm on the back.
VAR clearly looked at it, and they have stuck with the referee's decision that was not a penalty.
And it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? Had it been the other way round, would they have overturned that?
Well, in terms, and there's the half-time whistle, Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. In terms of the contact that there was from Kehrer on Coman, it was very similar to Marquinhos on Lewandowski.
Yeah, if you go on the rules, that could say you should give it, because there is a hand on him and he's leaning on. So by the rules, you'd get that. But obviously, it's the Champions League final, isn't it?
Key thing is as well, though, he did make a lot of it, and I think he tripped himself after that contact. You know, he knocked his own legs together, went down looking for it.
Did he need to go down? I don't think he did. So therefore, I thought that was a correct decision.
I think it's the first half, John. No, it came to life after about 35 minutes. I think Paris dropped off the pace. They were doing very well, containing Bayern easily, really. And they just come off the pace, and that's encouraged Bayern to get a bit more time on the ball. But Bayern's got to relax a little bit more on the ball, take care of it better. They were the last 10 minutes, you've got to say, better anyway. But it's just how long Paris can keep this up. It's hard for Paris. They don't normally play like this, so it'd be interesting second half.
Few clear chances so far. Certainly Neymar had one. Really good save by Neuer. Di Maria was well in, but shot over the bar. And at the other end, Lewandowski, typically predatory. Shot on the turn that hit the post. And another header that was kept out by Keylor Navas. But at half-time, the odds must be shortening on a 0-0 draw. It is goalless down in Lisbon at the break. Kelly Cates.
John, we thought this one would have lots of goals in it, and there've certainly been opportunities for that in the first half. And Chris Sutton, do you think it's fair to say that this game's been sort of higher on entertainment than it has on, I want to say quality, but I mean relative to what these sides are capable of?
Well, I predicted before the game that there was no way this game would finish without goals in 90 minutes. So, you know, I'm looking a bit of an idiot at this moment in time. But, I mean, it's still been intriguing. I have to say, I thought the chance of the half was just before half-time. Mbappe, a massive opportunity. You expect a player of his quality to bury that. But Bayern haven't been their confident selves in the final third. I know Lewandowski hit the post, but he made that opportunity himself. I expect, I mean, Chris Waddle's touched on it, as both teams tire in the second half, John Murray's spoken about the heat out there, then I think we'll see a better second half with more chances at both ends. And it's who's going to take them.
Arian says on social media, Chris, two great teams often cancel each other out in these big games. The big players, though, step up. Let's see what Neymar, Mbappe and Lewandowski and co are made of in the second half. Do you think it is? I mean, as Chris Sutton was repeating your comments that, you know, as this goes on, it's probably going to play more into Bayern Munich's hands. But is this about one of those big name players taking the opportunity that's presented to you?
Yeah, you would think so. But you've got to say, you know, Mbappe's had a great chance. Neymar had a great chance. You've got to say Lewandowski made one out of nothing himself, and then he's had a great header, which he did ever so well again. So that's, you know, the big players have had actually the chances in this game. They've not taken them. I suppose Neymar will be disappointed with his left foot shot, which is not. I think it's a great save by Neuer, but Mbappe should have capitalised, and Di Maria should have done better as well. So there has been very, very good chances, but both teams, I think, look very nervous. I think as the game goes on, players tire a little bit, relax a bit more, and you'll start seeing a lot more quality.
So half-time in Lisbon, it is Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0 in the Champions League final. We will bring you the second half and the rest of the day's sports headlines after the BBC News with Helen Place.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. 5 Live news headlines. The UK's largest teaching union says more staff and greater clarity if there's a spike in coronavirus cases are needed for schools to reopen safely. The National Education Union is accusing the government of letting down everyone with no plan B. The UK's 4 chief medical officers say it is safe to return to school, though, saying it's more harmful not to. Here's the chief medical officer for England, Professor Chris Whitty.
The evidence that not going to school damages children in the long run is overwhelming, and that includes their long-term chances. It increases the risks of disparities, entrenches deep-rooted problems that people may have. It increases the risk that they have mental and physical ill health in the long run.
Thousands of people have formed a human chain from the Lithuanian capital to the Belarusian border in solidarity with those protesting against President Lukashenko's disputed re-election. Tens of thousands of demonstrators have filled the central square of Minsk. Our reporter in Minsk is Jonah Fisher.
They did it despite incredible pressure. All the side streets around this square were filled with riot vans, with military vehicles. There were loudspeakers booming out across the square, warning people that this gathering was illegal, that they would be dispersed. But to be quite frank, the numbers of people who gathered simply made it impossible for the security forces to try and disrupt it.
A child was killed and another seriously injured when a tree fell during high winds in Kent. It happened in Bobbing on Friday as gusts of up to 60 miles an hour battered parts of the country. Some of Aberdeen's lockdown restrictions are set to be lifted at midnight. Pubs and restaurants were shut 18 days ago, as well as travel and visiting restrictions after a spike in COVID-19 cases linked to bars in the city. More than 70 unlicensed social gatherings, including house and street parties, were disrupted by police in Birmingham last night. It comes after the city was added to a government watch list due to a spike in positive COVID-19 cases. And Donald Trump's eldest sister, Mary-Ann Trump-Barry, has been secretly taped calling him a liar with no principles. He responded, saying every day it's something else. Who cares?
Available now on BBC Sounds.
On the ground. The peace of a troubled world and the hopes of an oppressed people now depend on you. Investigating one of the most infamous friendly fire incidents of the Iraq War.
I heard the drone.
They're the only people that really know what happened.
If anyone's ever heard an A-10 fire before, you will know what that noise is.
He told me there's nobody north of here, no friendlies.
The A-10 is an amazing aircraft, but left to their own devices, they're dangerous.
It's 17 years, but this has stayed with them.
It's changed their lives forever.
On the ground. Listen now on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport with Kelly Cates.
And we're bringing the Champions League final this evening. It's 0-0 between Paris Saint-Germain, going for their first ever Champions League or European Cup, up against Bayern Munich, who are going for number 6. Second half coming up very shortly. England are in a dominant position heading into the penultimate day of the final test against Pakistan. Here's Henry Moran.
Well, a funny old day of Test cricket here at Southampton. Delays in the morning because of the weather, but eventually England bowling Pakistan out for 273, and Jimmy Anderson is now just 2 wickets away from 600 in Test match cricket. Michael Vaughan, former England captain, alongside me. I think we can encompass the weirdness of today in that spell where we saw 3 of the worst drops you will ever see as James Anderson homed in on 600 Test wickets.
Yeah, I'm certainly not the right person to be talking about drop catches
catches because I dropped plenty, but I have to say that 10-ball spell, I mean, Azarelli played a gem of an innings to get a century. Jimmy's got a 5 for the 29th of his career, but I have to say the 10 balls was the funniest part of the day. A bit of comedy gold, bit of a circus act. Stuart Broad dropping an absolute goober. I've just spoken to him, actually, so it was dark. He's always got a good excuse, and then he just kind of in anger threw down the stumps. Mohamed Abbas, a typical tail ender, not realising that you can get run out off a drop catch, and the middle stump went flying out the ground. But I thought it was a really good day of Test match cricket, because I think when Asad Shafiq was out early in the morning, Jimmy with his 4th, I think pretty much everyone in the commentary box thought Pakistan would collapse and it'd be all plain sailing, but the captain found rhythm, found a real good technique, a good mindset, and that's up there with the really good hundreds, because to get a Test match century against the likes of Anderson and Broad in these conditions, there's not many that do it, so he can be proud of his day's work. So can Anderson. I thought Dominic Best showed a bit of signs of promise. That wicket and that catch for Joss Butler, 3 really good catches for the keeper. So there's some nice jigsaw pieces starting to come together for the England Test match team. And I thought Jofra Archer deserved 2 or 3 wickets. His pace today was exactly what England require, around the 92 miles an hour mark. He could quite easily have picked up 2 or 3 wickets.
We can't look too much at the weather forecast, but it doesn't look great for Tuesday. You sense England need to get this job done on Monday. So, can they do it? 10 wickets in the day?
Yeah, you'd think so. I mean, I don't think it'll be plain sailing. I think Pakistan will show a little bit of fight. I'm sure there'll be a partnership or two. But you just sense that Jimmy Anderson will get 2. It'll be 600. England should be able to get in enough opportunities, just whether they can catch them. That's the problem. They should be able to create enough opportunities on a day 4 pitch. There'll be a few clouds around and there'll be a little bit of zip. England have been very, very impressive this week. Apart from the catching, you can pretty much say it's been a flawless performance, and it's not often over the last few years that we've said over the course of the first 3 days in particular that England have put in a flawless Test match performance.
And a word on Joss Butler's wicket keeping. We know about his batting with that excellent 100 in England's innings, but 2 good catches today.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly worked very hard with Bruce French, and obviously getting a big 100, he's going to be more relaxed behind the stumps. That catch that he took off Dominic Best, his hands just looked so much more relaxed, and I'm sure I'm not the person to tell you about keeping and the technical side of it, but you know, clearly the technical side of the keeping job from Joss has been better today. He's had more movement with those feet, particularly to those balls down the leg side. But I'm pretty sure it helps when you've got 150 already in the bank. It just makes you a little bit more relaxed behind the stumps.
Plenty to look forward to on the 4th day. We've just got to hope the weather behaves itself. Michael, thank you for your time. Test match special on air 10:15 tomorrow morning on 5 Live Sports Extra to see if England can seal the victory and if Jimmy can reach 600.
That was Henry Moran with Michael Vaughan. TMS special podcast is available to download right now via BBC Sounds. You can hear ball-by-ball commentary of tomorrow's action from 10:15 on Sports Extra. Elsewhere, Hibs are second in the Scottish Premiership after Stevie Mallon's injury time penalty gave them a 1-0 win at St Johnstone. Elsewhere, Aberdeen beat Livingston 2-1. Plenty of British success at the Stockholm Diamond League this afternoon. Laura Muir claimed victory in the 1500 metres, while her training partner Gemma Reekie won the 800 metres. There were also wins for pole vaulter Holly Bradshaw and Adam Jamili in the 200 metres. The world number 304, Sophia Popov, has won the Women's Open Golf at Troon. She finished 2 shots ahead of her nearest rival. And in Rugby Union's Pro 14, Connacht beat Ulster 26-20, while Ospreys drew 20-all with the Dragons. In Lisbon, it is goalless at halftime in the Champions League final between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich. We were saying at the end of the first half that as this goes on, it may well suit Bayern Munich a bit more. Chris Waddle, have you been surprised at how nervy the teams have looked, or how unconfident they've looked?
Well, it's been built up. Obviously, Bayern Munich's had a lot of praise. Paris have got there eventually. Again, talking about Mbappe and Neymar, how good they are and what they can do, and it's been built up. This is, a massive contest where I thought it was going to be, lots of goals. It's 0-0. And there's been some great chances, but in general, what surprised me, the quality's been poor of general play. For all, there's been 4 or 5 very good chances. Some of the players look very nervous, overhitting passes. Which you can expect because, it is the Champions League final.
It is the Champions League final, and you can see that maybe it's starting to get to them. Is this where Bayern Munich's collective experience, Chris Sutton, might come into play? Yes, there are individuals with experience in both sides, but is it where that might come into play for Bayern?
I think that's what we would all be thinking, that Bayern Munich more of a team than Paris Saint-Germain are. I think this is about PSG gutsing this one out as well, and if they can maintain the work rate which they had in the first half, then maybe, just maybe, one of their big players will take one of the opportunities, which, I mean, they're bound to get an opportunity or two in this second half, but I expect Bayern Munich, the longer this game goes on, the PSG backline and midfield to tie and them to get opportunities of their own. We haven't seen much of Thomas Müller. He's going to have a say in this final.
It's interesting what happened with George Boateng as well. Clearly they wanted to see him play Bayern Munich, and they were willing to risk him despite the sort of injury stories around him coming into this game. Chris, has that affected Bayern Munich, do you think?
Yes, I mean it's bound to affect Bayern Munich, the fact that it was never going to be ideal starting him. The fact that he had an injury anyway, and the problem with Süle, who's come on, he just hasn't had enough football. So that was a gamble. It was a gamble that Hansi Flick felt was worth taking. So we understand that. But Süle, it's a difficult job coming on in any circumstances when you've barely played a game since last October. But to come on against the likes of Mbappe, Di Maria, and Neymar, that is something else. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet, though.
Having said that, maybe we haven't seen the best of either side yet. It was still a very entertaining first half, and the second half is coming up for you right now with the score at 0-0 between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich. Our Salford-based commentary team this evening: Chris Waddle, Chris Sutton, and our football correspondent John Murray.
Yes, Kelly, I would agree with that. We're just watching pictures at the moment, which are, it's always a little bit of an insight, isn't it? The pictures in the dressing room area. Just noticed there that Paris Saint-Germain's sporting director, Leonardo, is actually in the dressing room. Thomas Tuchel came out on his crutches, and Leonardo was just lurking there talking to the players as well. And they're returning now onto the pitch in the Estadio da Luz in beautiful Lisbon, with the score Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 0. The teams, assuming there are no further substitutions at half-time, Paris Saint-Germain with Keylor Navas in goal, returning from injury. Back four of Kehrer, Thiago Silva, Kimpembe and Bernat. In midfield, Marquinhos with Herrera and Paredes. Then Di Maria, Neymar and Mbappe. And Bayern Munich, who lost Jerome Boateng to injury during the first half, brought Niklas Süle on. Yet no changes for them either during the half-time break. So Manuel Neuer in goal, Kimmich, substitute Süle, Alaba and Davis, Thiago and Goretzka, Müller, Gnabry, Koeman and Lewandowski. So Bayern get the second half underway in Lisbon with the score 0-0, and immediately win a throw-in down the right-hand side that Kimmich is going to take. Incidentally, only 4 of the previous 64 European Cup or Champions League finals have ended 0-0. Here's Thiago playing the ball across towards Davis, who's going to have a look and has a shot from 30 yards, but that's blocked easily by Thiago Silva. Just a step or two inside the PSG penalty area. Davis then wins the ball back. Bayern in their red kit with the white trim. PSG in the dark blue kit with the white and red distinctive stripes right up the front of the shirts. And Mbappe receives the ball on the left-hand side. Had a good chance just before half-time, wasn't able to take it. Takes on the 2 Bayern men on him, goes to ground, doesn't win the free kick. Referee Osato says, play on Bayern. And that's exactly what they do to the halfway line. 55-goal top scorer Lewandowski has it on the left-hand side. He was 32 on Friday, Lewandowski, or Lewandowski, as your man Müller called him in his little video after the semi-final. Here's Thiago. Now Goretzka tries to play it through. It's blocked away back to the halfway line.
You've got to love German humour, John, haven't you?
That famous German sense of humour. Here's Kimmich. Chests the ball infield, and it's cleared away by Paredes. Kept in though. Or was the ball already out? I think it was. Yeah. Throwing to PSG. So 0-0. already into the second minute of the second half. Chris Waddle and Chris Sutton are with us for the commentary. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. The World Service are with us as well. And you can also listen via the BBC Sport website and app to us this evening, wherever you are. UEFA said last season that around 400 million people in 200 different countries watched the Champions League final. So one would imagine it would be something similar that they will say for this match this evening. The first Sunday night Champions League final. Ball's out of play for a throw-in on the right-hand side. Seeing a number of substitutes. Paris Saint-Germain are warming up. Verratti is there. A number of injury issues that they had. Verratti was one of them. Idrissa Gueye, another. He's on the bench. Kurzawa as well, also had a problem. All among the substitutes. Here's Marquinhos. Now PSG working it down the right-hand side, but across comes Alaba to clear it into PSG territory. But they will go all the way back to goalkeeper Keylor Navas, Chris Waddle.
Well, it's a very scrappy start to the second half, isn't it? Nobody can seem to put three passes together. It's very tight, high tempo.
PSG bringing it forward from the back though with care, and then a sliding interception from Thiago takes the ball back to the feet of the Bayern captain, Manuel Neuer.
I suppose that's been the head scratcher really, when you know we talked before the game about the quality of play on show this evening. We haven't seen it, and that'll be the difference in this second half. Which of the big players are actually going to step up and get this game, take this game by the scruff of the neck?
0-0. Bayern playing the ball out towards the left-hand side. Koeman gets the ball down. He was the one change that Hansi Flick made. Koeman plays it into the edge of the 6-yard box, looking for the run of Lewandowski, who claps the intent from Koeman, but it was read well by 35-year-old Thiago Silva, who is able to deflect it out for a corner to Bayern.
He must have had a word off time, because Koeman was getting the better at the Paris right side, wasn't he? So Di Maria's doubling up a little bit more now. Koeman was the out ball.
Corner then for Bayern. This is from the left-hand side. So here it is, the corner, which is taken short to Thiago. And then back to Kimmich. Kimmich, who's been forced away from the penalty area by Bernat. So actually has to play it back towards the halfway line. Then Alaba up to the edge of the area. Lewandowski chests it down, then tries to pull it past Kimpembe. That showed too much of it to him, and he was able to clear it away.
Zulu went all the way up from centre half, expected the corner to be whipped in. It didn't come to much, a short corner, all the way back.
Oh, there's a collision off the ball, waiting for the throw-in to be taken by Neymar and Goretzka. And then Neymar puts in a challenge.
He is the boy who cries wolf, isn't he? He goes down, he screams there. There was a coming together before that. A little bit of needle now between the two sides.
Yeah, Gnabri's involved. The referee, Daniele Orsato, has just stepped away and is just telling them to calm down. So he'll speak to Gnabry. I'm not sure where Neymar is up. He's on his feet.
Yeah, he's on his feet. You would have thought with the scream we could all hear that, you know, he'd be out for 3 weeks.
Mind you, so far the diving and play acting hasn't been anywhere near the standard that was set by Inter and Sevilla on Friday night, which was I think that's one of the worst I've seen.
Yeah, they've got to sort it out. It's getting worse every game you watch, and people don't want to see it.
0-0, and Bayern playing the ball towards Kimmich. Paredes was able to get a foot to that first. Here is Neymar. Not seen too many of the tricks. There wasn't much contact there from Gnabry, and down goes Neymar, and then Paredes gets involved, shoving Gnabry away. So Goretzka and Lewandowski both are quickly in on the scene to pull Gnabry away, and they're both pointing at Paredes. And now there's an amount of just gentle shoving and pushing, and Paredes is making out that he has been wrong because the finger was being pointed at him, and Muller's chatting away. And Paredes is still continuing, and the general milling around will end with
the yellow card for Gnabry. I think there was contact, but Neymar actually rolled out of picture. Surprise, surprise, he's up on his feet. I think it was 6 or 7 rolls.
I think he rolled into Sport Lisbon's ground.
It's a yellow card for Paredes and for Gnabry. So I think Gnabry's been yellow carded for the challenge on Neymar. I must say, I didn't think it was a great deal in that from Gnabry. And Paredes has been yellow carded for his part in the little scuffle that followed.
Now we're just seeing it there, and Gnabry is trying to win the ball, and he catches Neymar. It's a foul.
It's a tap with his foot.
But there is contact, but there's not enough contact for 6 or 7 rolls. I mean, that's Laurence Olivier stuff there.
Well, I hope that this is not going to start to degenerate into that sort of, because it's been, as we've said at half-time, it's not been a classic, certainly, but it's been thoroughly absorbing, and we don't want it to be broken up by that kind of thing. Muller winning the ball back, and then Neymar bounces off Muller, and Kimmich plays it out towards the far side, and it's going to be taken forward by Davis. Red shirts ahead of him, red Bayern shirts. Muller wanted it through the middle, instead he went short to Koeman. Koeman knocks it infield. Goretzka is there on his right foot, tries a shot, took a deflection, and the ball looped up and actually landed in the arms of Keylor Navas. Chris Waddle.
Well, both teams are trying to play, but they just cancel each other out, whether it be sloppy play or good defending. Or they're two well-matched sides. This we thought Bayern would dominate the game. We would see Paris on the counter-attack a lot, but there's not been a lot between them.
2 important saves from Manuel Neuer in the first half, but Lewandowski hit a post at the other end. Remember the form that Bayern were in coming into this, having won 28 of their last 29 matches, 20 wins in a row. They've won all 14 they've played since football resumed. That's what PSG are up against, but they're in not the shabbiest form themselves. PSG lost only 1 of their last 32. Ball out for a throw-in to Bayern, who are playing from left to right as we look via the TV pictures from Lisbon in the second half. And it is Zula, the substitute, rolls a low one to Kimmich on the right-hand side. Kimmich then sets off infield. It's been followed all the way by Bernat, and therefore has to tap it back to Zula. 2 Bayern central defenders exchange passes. Now Kimmich again. PSG forcing Bayern to go all the way back into their own half, and indeed all the way back to goalkeeper Neuer, all in grey. As the scene opens up inside the Estadio de Luz, and we see the signage covering the seats in the lower tier, with the huge European Cup on the seats in the central section. Underneath it reads Final 2020 Lisbon. It will be in Istanbul, all things being well, next season. Say next season, already 20 teams have been knocked out of next season's Champions League. Here's Alaba playing the ball to Davis, and then getting it back. Play at walking pace at the moment. Has really dropped off in the early stages of the second half. Maybe they're just having a breather. Kimmich rolls it through the middle. That's intercepted. Now Bernat up towards the halfway line, and that was a solid challenge by Zula. On the halfway line, the referee has got the yellow card out for Zula for that challenge from behind. Yellow card, Niklas Zula.
Yeah, and the look of surprise on his face, but PSG happy to sit in, be nice and compact. I think it is a foul. If it's a yellow card, I'm not so sure. Di Maria gets his body in. He is caught, but a bit of a harsh one that, but selves under pressure now with the yellow cards.
Free kick then to PSG. Di Maria, who was the player fouled, it's okay, he's on his feet. Ball into the Bayern box. Mbappe is after it. Zula comes across, and I think the final touch was off the German. An aerial ball towards Mbappe. Did come off Mbappe's knee, so it should be a goal kick. It is a goal kick when the pictures reveal themselves. It out into the left back position, and then gets it back. Manuel Neuer puts his foot on the ball. He has Neymar standing in front of him. Chips it out to Kimmich, who has to make ground break, and it's slightly behind him, and he's miscontrolled it out of play.
That was a shank, wasn't it, from Neuer? Lacks confidence, though, doesn't he?
That's their problem, isn't it? Bayern Munich. Back to the halfway line. Kimpembe then wins a throw-in off.
I'm just looking out to change the game for him. Coutinho definitely has got the ability, whether he's got the mental state to go with it in a game like this. I'm not sure. Perisic can't do any worse.
Throw in for PSG, just to the left of where Thomas Tuchel is sitting on his ice box. As the ball is played up towards Lewandowski on the halfway line. Lewandowski, who had Kimpembe very tight to him. Thiago, high ball across the halfway line, along the halfway line. Davis was underneath that, but he knew that there was pressure not too far away from Mbappe, who's just out on the right-hand side at the moment. Long ball over the top. This is for Gnabry again. They're trying that move. This was a lot closer to him than a number of the attempts in the first half, but Bernat got his head to it to nod it out of play. Still 0-0. Muller and Kimmich. Then back to Thiago. Thiago put his foot on the ball. Kimmich now. Muller wants it at close quarters. Not really seen enough of Thomas Muller yet in this Champions League final. Davis, the teenager, takes it on down the left-hand side. The Canadian international to Coleman. He turns, plays it back to Thiago, and then back towards the halfway line. Zola, the white number 4 on the back of his red shirt. Zola hits a meaty ball to the edge of the area. Lewandowski tried to turn it off to a teammate, but failed to do so. And PSG, now Di Maria got the ball at his feet, but it bounced away from him at the crucial moment when he was trying to cut inside Zola. And so Bayern have got the ball back.
Yeah, I think PSG, John, Chris, have got deeper in this second half. They're happy to let Bayern have the ball of possession, but then they do look a threat. They have that threat, don't they, on the counter?
Bayern, though, it is coming forward at the moment. Kimmich looking down the right for Gnabry. First time ball in towards the edge of the area. Cut it back slightly. Muller was after it. Kimmich, though, crosses to the back post. Header is in. It's there. Bayern take the lead through Kingsley Coman. And the Frenchman in the German champions team has given Bayern the lead in the Champions League final. A close range header from an angle. It's PSG 0, Bayern Munich 1.
And they work it really, really well. Bayern Munich, there's patience in the attack, and it's a brilliant header from Kingsley Coman. Got the opportunity this evening, has had injury issues, but boy does he take this chance. Joshua Kimmich on point with the cross, and Coman, cool as you like, level with the back post, 6 yards out, does the right thing, textbook header, back, across, Keylor Navas, keeper has no chance, into the far corner. It's a brilliant header from Kingsley Coman, and Bayern Munich get the lead. It's all about who could take the chances, and it's been Bayern Munich, Chris.
Yeah, well, Paris fell asleep, didn't they? They switched off, and it's a great little ding to the far post, and as you say, do everything right, head it down, back across the goal. Coleman's probably been their best attacker tonight, you've got to say that. Anybody was going to look like causing a threat, it was him.
59th minute opening goal for Bayern Munich, looking to win the Champions League or the European Cup for the 6th time, and against Paris Saint-Germain. It's the former Paris Saint-Germain youngster Kingsley Coman with the header that opens the scoring. And we won't have a 0-0 in this final. Davis and Coman combining again, and then little ball back towards Goretzka. Davis and Coman, well, there's a collision between Herrera and Davis, but Coman takes it on and crosses towards Lewandowski. Kimpembe with an important touch right in the edge of the 6-yard box to take it away from Lewandowski when it seemed as though the goal was at his mercy. Still Bayern press, looking for a second, but the curling cross from the right-hand side from Gnabry is straight into the arms of Keylor Navas.
If you're the manager, you just say to Coman, go and get your feet out on that touchline. Every time he's had the ball, Coman, he's had a chance to get one-on-one. He's looked a threat every time he's got it. Just stay out wide, get him the ball. He can beat the fullback quite easily. And that's a great out ball for them now.
And Bayern continuing to press PSG, who are actually playing it out quite nicely. And on the halfway line, Neymar turns. He's got options either side of him. Goes infield. Thiago put in the challenge. Just when Neymar was looking to whip it out towards the far side, Thiago timed that brilliantly. The two former Barcelona men together there. And now here's Lewandowski on the left-hand side. Scored in every Champions League game this season. I bet his eyes were wide open when that last ball came across, but Kimpembe got there first. He has threatened on 2-3 occasions now, Lewandowski, to continue that run. Kimmich's ball into the penalty area. This is headed by Lewandowski back towards Muller. Muller lifting it up towards the back post. Coman's in again. Plays it across the 6-yard box, but Thiago Silva was there to clear for PSG.
Well, again, that cross to the back post and Coman ghosting in. It was a brilliant clearance. Was it Thiago Silva who hooked it away? But they're exploiting PSG on that far post. Bayern Munich goes how they got the first goal. Nearly a second one there.
They're stepping on the accelerator, Chris Waddle.
Bayern Paris have come right off the pace. It's time for Paris to freshen it up. I think they've worked ever so hard. Probably played a tempo they don't normally play. They normally dictate all the games. They've had to work very hard against this Bayern side, and it's time to freshen it up. He needs to get a few more legs on there.
Gnabry concedes a free kick, just a tug back on Bernat. So it's a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. As I say, the goal being scored in the 59th minute. So we're into the last half hour of this final. And Bayern, Hansi Flick's Bayern Munich have got their noses in front. Hansi Flick, who has had an incredible transformative effect on Bayern Munich this season, and currently, as the coach, is running at a 91% success rate in the games that he's played. 35 of them he's been in charge. They've won 32. Bayern thought they were away. Paredes is adjudged to have been fouled by Lewandowski, who picks up the ball and then puts his palms together in that praying motion. It doesn't matter, he's given the free kick. It's a free kick to PSG.
I think they've gotten away with a few there. Paredes goes to ground, but Lewandowski trying to get his body in. Is minimal contact. I think Paredes knows that he's not winning that ball. They've had a few decisions, in fairness, go for them, PSG, in the last couple of moments.
Going to make a change. Paris, first change that they've made, and it's Verratti who's coming on, that little battler in midfield, and he'll take the place of Paredes. So perhaps not necessarily the change that you might have expected. 1-0 down.
The problem you've got, John, is if you take Neymar and Mbappe off, or maybe even Di Maria, well, the dummy come out, I think the manager's scared to take any of them off, and he probably does want to change the front three, because they're not closing Bayern Munich down anymore. Bayern Munich can just dictate the pace of the game. To freshen it up, he needs to put a couple of attacking players on, and he's not going to do that.
Therefore, it's a straight swap in midfield, Verratti for Paredes. And Bayern continue to lead by 1-0. BBC Radio 5 Live and the World Service. And here is Coman, the goal scorer. On the left-hand side, one way, then the other to the byline. The cross, though, is blocked by the, as ever, tireless Herrera, blocking it behind for a corner to Bayern. And having taken the lead, the German champions are not giving PSG one bit of respite. It's a corner from the left.
He's got, Coman's got Kehrer on toast, hasn't he? Every time he gets the ball, chopping inside, outside. He needs that help out there, Kehrer.
Corner. Kimmich swings it in, looking for Lewandowski, headed away by Marquinhos. Comes out for Alaba, who's going to try a shot left-footed, which he does from 25 yards, but hits it powerfully, but high and wide by 10 yards or so, so it's a goal kick. 1-0 Bayern Munich lead.
Well, have Paris got anything left in the tank? What we're seeing so far, second half, they look tired. As I said, they've put a lot of effort in so far. They've had chances first half, but now they're looking a little bit sloppy, a bit leggy, and Bayern full of confidence.
Thiago Silva closed down by Coman, who has been absolutely tireless. He's had a very good night, Coman, and he scored the goal. He has Bernat now against his old club, giving the ball to Neymar, who's on the left-hand side. Neymar drifts infield. Muller put in the challenge. Neymar did stay on his feet this time, raised his arms as the challenge came in, played it square to Marquinhos. Now out towards the right-hand side. Di Maria's there. His left-footed ball into the near post, and Mbappe tried to flick it. Whether he got a touch or not, I'm not sure, but it just bounced through into the arms of Neuer.
Yeah, difficult crossing angle, but Di Maria back on his left foot. Mbappe makes a run across Sula. Wonder whether they had gone a little bit too early, but Neuer gathers anyway.
Germany, the German champions, coming forward with Goretzka. Now to Coman. Coman just allows the ball to come to a stop. Plays it back to Goretzka on the edge of the area. He turns, gives it back further to Thiago, 30 yards out. Kimmich, then to Muller on the right-hand side. Thomas Muller 199 goals for Bayern Munich. He scored. Muller, little ball into the edge of the area. Kimmich back to Thiago. Thiago angles it over the top, took a flick off the head, I think, of Herrera, and Bernat was able to hit it away left-footed towards the halfway line. Bayern are going to make at least one change. I think they might have seen someone else down there as well. Perisic is certainly one of the players who is going to come on. And Coutinho as well. So Perisic and Coutinho. So in this position, 1-0 up. These are two very positive changes by Hansi Flick, if it is going to be a double change.
You kind of take Coleman,
You wouldn't have thought so, although, you know...
I'd take Gnabry off, and I'd even take Muller off, maybe. I think Muller's found it hard to get in the game. Chris said that first half, and we've not saw a lot of him.
Remember, Coleman has had an injury. He was injured against Chelsea in the second leg. So, came on as a substitute in the previous two matches. Kimmich is one, and yeah, it's Coleman. So maybe he's just said, what have we played now, 3/4 of the match? Maybe this was the plan, regardless, that Coleman would play 3/4 of the game. So it's Coleman and... Who was the other who came on? Gnabry is coming off. And Perisic and Coutinho are on. So a double change for Bayern Munich, who've now made 3 of the 5 changes they can make in normal time. Long ball foot into the area. Lewandowski heads it off. He was looking for Coutinho, but Keylor Navas was quickly there, smartly there to grab it on the edge of the 6-yard box.
He's unlucky there, isn't he, Lewandowski? Just a long, innocuous ball up in the air, and he deft little header. And knocked the ball back in Coutinho's path.
Lewandowski must be thinking to himself, as all goal scorers do, that if PSG have to commit themselves, that there might be a little more opportunity for him to get that goal and continue this run and perhaps clinch it for Bayern Munich. After the season that he's had, the season of his life, Lewandowski, and that's by his own extremely high standards, that would be quite a way to cap things off. But only 1 goal in it, 1-0 Bayern lead. But time is wearing on, and we're into the last quarter of the regulation 90 minutes. Verratti is bundled over in the centre circle. It's a free kick to PSG, and the Italian international takes it quickly himself. It's missed by Davis, bounces to Di Maria inside the penalty area. Di Maria takes it back out into the full-back area, plays it infield. The shot from the angle by Marquinhos, who ghosted into the box, is blocked by a sprawling Neuer behind for a corner.
Well, this is brilliant from Di Maria. Reverse ball. It does take a deflection off Alaba. Marquinhos ghosts into the box. But Neuer, how many times have we seen him make saves like this? Unorthodox with his right boot. Big save.
Another big save. Here's the corner into the near post, which is cleared away by Kimmich on the twist. And then Coutinho felt that he was fouled by Neymar. No free kick. Neymar has 3 Bayern players around him. Strength there, and then Goretzka with Lewandowski with the final touch on Neymar, which takes him down. Free kick taken short by PSG. Kimpembe on the left-hand side. Kimpembe, who is up for the corner, gives it to Mbappe. Mbappe, who's had his chances, crosses right-footed, took a flick off a Bayern head, I think, which carried it behind the 2 PSG players in the middle and out for a corner.
Well, come back to life, Paris, haven't they, since Bayern made the substitutions, but that was a great ball by Di Maria, as Chris said, and Marquinhos, for me, miskicks it. Doesn't hit it. He miskicks it completely.
It's a brilliant save. It's like a handball goalkeeper, wasn't it? Neuer stands big.
Corner then for PSG. Now twinged to the near post, takes a flick off Herrera, bounces down inside the edge of the 6-yard box, and the referee has spotted a foul by Marquinhos on Zula, who's gone down clutching his right leg.
Good ball in, isn't it? A lot of movement. Oh, it's a genuine attempt to hit the ball into the goal. Look, he's trying to hit it. It's a great block.
Kicked him on the calf. Marquinhos kicked him right on the side of the calf. Zula. So it is a free kick to Bayern, who lead 1-0. Chris Sutton.
Yes, they do. And I think the difference in this second half is the intensity Bayern Munich have played at. They actually look fitter. They look the stronger team. We worried. Chris Waddle spoke about whether PSG can last the distance, but they've got to find something. Now, PSG got to get back into this game. And they'll be looking to the big names big money players Neymar and Mbappe to come up with the goods.
Well, Herrera has been substituted. That's the latest change for PSG. And another German international, Julian Draxler, has come on to replace him. Had another season, Draxler, where he's had injury problems and illness. So he's on instead of Herrera. Bayern leading 1-0. Ball played square. Goretzka's onto this. Has a look. Has a shot. It's blocked by the backside of Kimpembe just outside the area. And it's bounced for PSG. And Neymar hits a low ball forward on the angle from Mbappe to chase. Mbappe into the penalty area now. Twists Kimmich one way and the other. Zula comes across. Twists again. Mbappe goes down inside the box, but the ball had gone. And Bayern were able to clear it away. And there wasn't any prospect of a penalty for Mbappe for that. Paris Saint-Germain, though, with Marquinhos, finds Di Maria. Di Maria just touches it away from Davis, slips it into the penalty area. It's pulled back towards the edge of the penalty area by Kehrer, but Bayern were able to clear. PSG come again. They've managed to lift themselves. And now great work by Bernat to beat his man and then attack the penalty area. Bernat then turns, gives it back to Neymar, who goes for a curling effort from just outside the box, but whips it over the angle of post and back.
Great bit of play by Mbappe a few minutes ago, but for me, he could have got a shot. He could have done something. He's got two players. He's checking. There's two red shirts, so eventually they get it away. But Paris, all of a sudden, now realise that they're one down, and they've started moving the ball, and there's a bit more energy about them.
Just having a look at Mbappe, who might have just been caught there by the toe end.
Kimmich got the ball.
Got the ball and then the man.
No, he got the ball, John.
Good. Correct decision then. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 1. Kingsley Coman's goal in the second half. And here he is. Here is Davis bringing the ball forward. Davis carrying it up towards the edge of the penalty area. Uses Coutinho. Coutinho curling it towards the back post. Muller arrives in the other full-back area. His cross via a deflection is headed away by Marquinhos on the edge of the penalty area. But Bayern take up possession again. Goretzka turns it, expecting someone in a red shirt to be there, but there was no one, and it rolls out of play for a throw-in to PSG. 15 minutes to go. Chris Waddle, 1-0 to Bayern.
I'm just looking at that tackle again by Kimmich, and we thought he played the ball, but he actually did play Mbappe's ankle, but obviously it's been waved away.
I think the issue that PSG have is if you keep throwing yourself to the floor all the time. I said in the first half, Neymar's the boy who cries wolf. I think Mbappe on his way down anyway.
But there was contact. I'm sure it'll be mentioned post-match by Thomas Tuchel if they're not able to find the equaliser.
Well, if you give that, you give the one in the first half as well to Coman.
Against Coman, Bayern just outside the PSG box. It rolls for Kimmich. Kimmich now has a look and then lifts it over the top into the penalty area, but Keylor Navas was quickly there across the 6-yard box to grab it before Perisic got there and then overarms it out. Neymar's going to struggle to keep that in. He couldn't keep it in after a heavy-ish first touch, although it was hit at him very hard.
It's quite hard to call now, isn't it? Bayern 1 up, trying to obviously dictate possession, keep the ball, hopefully get that. Can they nick that second goal to kill the game off? But Paris have started finding a little bit of confidence and a bit of belief, nothing to lose. They're starting to ask questions.
And it is just opening out again as well. Paris Saint-Germain know that time is running out into the last 15 minutes of this Champions League final. 1-0 Bayern Munich lead. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. This studio-based commentary in these testing times. Kimmich still waits and then strikes it long, but Thiago Silva out of contract with PSG after this match. His team trailing 1-0 in the Champions League final. He was signed at the same time as Zlatan Ibrahimovic from AC Milan. The two of them together. Ball played out to Neymar on the left-hand side. Neymar, world's most expensive player. Now to Verratti, and Verratti curls it into the box, and Davis was underneath it to very carefully and coolly head it back to Manuel Neuer.
He did really well there. There's a poor pick out from Verratti, but Davies running back towards his own net. As cool as you like, the young man just nods it back into Neuer's arms.
Yeah, that's a teenager there for you.
19.
Just wait till he gets a few more mistakes in him. He won't be doing that sort of thing. Here he is again, Davis running the ball towards the halfway line, and Kehrer puts in the challenge. I think Kehrer will be relieved that he's seen the back of Coleman in this match.
Definitely, yeah. Coleman's every time he's had one-on-one.
But it's Bayern's ball. Here it is, played up through the middle to Goretzka, who puts in the challenge with Kimpembe, and then Bernat 50-50 with Perisic, who started on the right-hand side. Perisic couldn't get to the ball before it was over the dead ball line, and it's a goal kick to Paris Saint-Germain. 12 minutes to play. PSG take it quickly. Kimpembe passes it out, and then Neymar knew that there was a man coming, and the touch took it straight out of play.
He looks frustrated, John, doesn't he? But they did it before in this competition. They were down and out against Atalanta and came back. They have to believe again.
Yes, they were, when Marquinhos and Eric Choupo-Moting came up with the goals. I wonder whether Thomas Tuchel is going to throw the former Stoke City man onto the field. German-born as well, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting.
The only thing you'd say there, John, is Bayern Munich's a lot more experienced than Atlanta at this level.
Just a bit, yeah. Here's Neymar on the left-hand side. They can't keep the ball in again. That'll add to the frustration for Neymar. One of the players signed by PSG to deliver the Champions League title. It's not happening here, but it's still very finely poised. 1-0 to Bayern Munich. Bayern with the throw. Bernat, actually, he did pick up a knock, didn't he, Bernat, in, I think, the previous Bayern attack. And I think that might be him done.
Yeah, like it.
Limping towards the halfway line. PSG are having to sort out another change, which is interesting actually, because PSG have made their changes at 2 different times, so they've only got 1 more slot left in terms of substitutions. So if they want to make more than 1 substitution, they would have to do it when Bernat goes off. That's the complication of these 5 permitted substitutes. So the change is going to be made, but this is eating into PSG's own time. So Bernat is off. And who's coming on? Kurzawa making his return from injury. The number 20, straight swap, Levan Kurzawa, the French international, and they are making a double change now, and it's Di Maria who's gone. And it is Choupo-Moting who comes on. So that effectively is Thomas Tuchel's final turn of the card. 1-0 Bayern Munich lead. And ball on the halfway line with Neymar, who finds he's sandwiched by 2 Bayern Munich players. But he goes down, but he's going to have to get back up onto his feet, because time is rapidly running out for Paris Saint-Germain. Verratti and Kimpembe are claiming something's happened there. Somebody in a Bayern shirt has done something untoward. Bernat has got his hands on his head, setting in the socially distanced substitutes positions after having to limp off injured. And then Lewandowski is upended by Neymar. That's a foul on the halfway line, and it's a yellow card for the frustrated Neymar.
He's had a really bad 10 minutes, hasn't he, Neymar? Gave the ball away numerous times, let the ball run out of play, and a daft challenge. Really lost his head there. Just kicks out at Lewandowski, who goes down, and it's perfect for Bayern Munich. Slow it down again.
1-0 Bayern Munich lead, 10 minutes. We're into the last 10 minutes now. Muller crossing from the right. That's blocked by the recently arrived Kurzawa. Out of play for a throw into Bayern on the right flank. Tense stuff now in the stadium in Lisbon. We're seeing pictures of Serge Gnabry, who's been substituted, running his hands through his hair, his little moustache bristling. Here's Lewandowski on the edge of the area, turning and shooting wide of the far post.
He was offside, I think, anyway, John, as the ball comes forward. I think they just stepped up there, Paris, on him, and he was always looking to get the shot off, doesn't he? He doesn't get the best. Yeah, he's definitely offside as the ball comes forward.
So free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. Out it goes to Kurzawa. Kimpembe just quickly playing it away from Lewandowski. Thiago Silva, right-footed and forward, but straight at Perisic on the halfway line. Thiago claims that he was fouled. Referee Orsato agrees, and his fellow countryman Verratti goes across and mutters something, presumably in Italian, to his countryman. Free kick to Bayern, who are breaking up the game quite nicely.
Well, they're dictating the pace of it. They're getting the free kicks to stop starting, and it's not helping Paris Saint-Germain. You say Neymar's had a terrible 15-minute spell, and Mbappe's had one little dribble. Apart from that, they've kept them very quiet.
Hasn't happened for the two of them. Neymar with a big chance early on in the game to make it 1-0. Well saved by Manuel Neuer. Big chance from Mbappe just before the break. 10 yards out, just scuffed the shot. And other than that, Bayern have been able to deal with them. And as Chris Waddle and Chris Sutton have suggested, Neymar certainly is getting very frustrated and has been yellow carded. And now Lewandowski brings the ball forward, plays it past Thiago Silva, who caught his legs. Down went Lewandowski. It's going to be a yellow card for the PSG captain and a free kick to Bayern.
I think PSG are giving it their all, but I think simply Bayern Munich are the fitter, stronger team. And it's been more and more apparent the longer this second half has gone on. And that has been the difference. Lewandowski draws Silva, goes around him, Silva goes to ground. Easy decision for the referee to make.
It feels like the way that the game is at the moment, all it needs now is for Lewandowski to deliver the coup de grace. Free kick for Bayern Munich. Thiago and Coutinho are there, Alaba as well. Thiago walks away, Coutinho walks across to the other side of the ball. Might be thinking about a shot. Coutinho, a couple of goals in that amazing win against Barcelona. Coutinho with a free kick from 30 yards that he hits over the wall but wide of the post.
Long way out, decent effort, runs the clock down.
Yeah, the stories about Coutinho and the clause, the €5 million clause if he wins the Champions League, even though he's on loan from Barcelona. It's been widely reported that Liverpool would benefit to the tune of €5 million, and Bayern and Coutinho's Bayern are winning it. Goal kick to PSG. We've got just over 5 minutes to play. Paris Saint-Germain just can't get back into it. Bayern are too strong. Coutinho then mistimes the bounce of the ball and actually pulls over Kehrer, so it is a free kick to Paris Saint-Germain. But as Chris Sutton rightly says, remember the late drama against Atalanta when Marquinhos and then Choupo-Moting came up with the two late goals to continue the run. Well, they need to find something like that against Bayern, and they won't do it like that as Kurzawa has fouled Kimmich, and that's another yellow card.
It's another poor pass from Neymar again. He has been so sloppy. You think the outlay, the money spent on him, €222 million, and this was the game he was brought in for.
I make that 4 yellows for PSG and 3 for Bayern now.
But this is perfect for Bayern, isn't it? You see frustration. Thomas Tuchel can't believe it. But they have been so sloppy.
You've got to look as well, John, that when they came back against Atlanta tried to park the bus, didn't they? Just sat back, where Bayern Munich will not do that.
Another Bayern change. This is the last one permitted, and it is Corentin Tolisso who is going to come on. Bayern twisting the knife, bringing on another French international against the French champions. Thiago, who's had an excellent game again in the Bayern midfield. So the number 24, the former Lyon man, Tolisso, is on. And we have less than 5 minutes, in fact 4 minutes of the 90 to play. Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 1. Throw in for PSG, Kurzawa, deep inside his own half. Verratti receives it and plays it back to goalkeeper Navas. Clears it, actually flicked off Lewandowski, and that means it's carried to Tolisso, who gets his first touch in the centre circle. And Bayern are then able to go all the way back to Manuel Neuer. Be a very good clean sheet for him tonight if it stays that way. The important save that he's made, not many of them, but the ones he's made have been so important. Now from the back, Zula has given that away, misplaced pass, but then Alaba is able to step forward, and Bayern have got it back again.
It's a poor pass though, just trying to force it PSG.
Here's one for Perisic to chase. Kurzawa comes across. Kimpembe makes his way over, and then Perisic puts in, goes to ground, wins the ball. Great experience, the Croatian. And the substitutes in the stadium, the Bayern substitutes, all on their feet there, applauding the work of Ivan Perisic, who's playing in his last game for Bayern Munich before he goes back on to his parent club Inter, having been on loan this season. Verratti puts in the challenge. Bayern wanted the free kick for that challenge on Goretzka. Nothing doing from the Italian referee. Then Davis steps in on the halfway line, and Davis will continue to bring it forward, and he takes it halfway inside Paris Saint-Germain territory. Bayern playing it across with Muller, who's not had the sparkling game, Thomas Muller. And in fact, Paris Saint-Germain now come forward, and the ball played over the top of Choupo-Moting in the middle. And Kimmich will very happily see that roll out of play in the fullback area.
I've got to say, John, overall, we saw a couple of plays where you think that was very good, very clever, but the majority of the game's been so sloppy. Whether it's the occasion, the heat, whatever, it's just both teams have cancelled each other out, and I think Bayern's experience, and Bayern have been slightly bit better. But you wouldn't say this was a classic final, by the way.
No, you wouldn't.
I think we all thought it may be. The difference has been work ethic, work rate. I wouldn't say desire. Both teams want to win it. But Bayern Munich have been more efficient, and in fairness, in the second half, they've been far more dominant.
It's not over yet, though. Still just 1-0 with play in the 89th minute down in Lisbon. Thiago Silva gets up high. Needs one big effort from Paris Saint-Germain. They need one big chance, just one chance. Ball played across towards Verratti. Verratti's low ball to Choupo-Moting on the edge of the area, onto his left foot, shoots, and Mbappe takes it in an offside position, and the flag is up. And in any case, Neuer came out and blocked the shot.
What a save that was. He was like a flying pig there, Neuer.
Schwein.
There you go. A brilliant save, albeit Mbappe miles offside, 3 yards offside, 8 yards out. Neuer spreads himself handball style, makes that save with his right foot. It's just not been Mbappe's night, has it? Or Neymar's.
No, it hasn't. The two most expensive players in the world, but they're up against what appears to be the best team in Europe this season, Bayern Munich, who've just been too good for them. Lewandowski commits a foul, just a foul on the turn, and a free kick to PSG in front of their own penalty area. So we're in the 90th minute now. Time very definitely running out for Thomas Tuchel. It looks as though there will be a German coach winning the Champions League in Lisbon tonight, but it won't be Thomas Tuchel. It will be the unlikely Hansi Flick, Hans-Dieter Flick, 55 years old, former Bayern Munich midfielder. Did play in a European Cup final, Hansi Flick, during his relatively brief time as a first-team player when they lost to Porto back in the 80s. I mean, we would never have believed that he would be the manager of Bayern Munich at the end of this season in a Champions League final after the run that they've had. But it seems to be that particular unlikely situation is coming to pass. PSG, though, playing the ball forward. It's blocked, which is probably just as well because there were players offside. Muller back to Kimmich on the halfway line. We're into added time. 5 minutes of added time, and it's Bayern who are coming forward. Ball into the penalty area for Lewandowski. Challenged by Kehrer, went down, arms sprawling, wanted the penalty. It's not given. PSG breakaway down the other end. Mbappe now running at the tiring Bayern Munich defence. Mbappe angles it into the box. Neymar's onto it. Neymar shoots across goal. Choupo-Moting couldn't get a touch, and it's beyond the far post and wide.
Well, you're looking at the penalty in one area, maybe it was there, and then you go to the in 10 seconds, the other goal, and I don't know if it was offside, Neymar. It would be close, wasn't it? And it's just a just needs a touch and it's in. A touch and it's in. No, the other end. No, he played the ball.
Kehrer on Lewandowski. Lewandowski wanted a penalty, but at the other end, whether Neymar might have been offside, it was a brilliant little run actually by Neymar to latch onto the path of Mbappe, but in the middle, as the ball bounces back at the Bayern Munich penalty area, but Neuer's got that. In the middle, Choupo-Moting, it was at an awkward height, he sort of kicked out sideways and just couldn't get the touch, Chris Sutton.
No, but the issue with Neymar of late is that he's been setting chances up but hasn't been able to take them, and once again an opportunity gone begging for PSG.
We're in the 3rd minute of added time. Bayern Munich are just seconds away from winning the Champions League or the European Cup for a 6th time. Only Real Madrid and AC Milan have won it more. Liverpool, they'd be joined on 6 wins by the great Bavarian side. And now Bayern have won a free kick. Lewandowski has gone down in the PSG left-back area. Marquinhos in with a challenge. Lewandowski's gone down holding his side. It's actually Kurzawa who put in the kick, I think, that caused the free kick. But they will take as long as they can over this now in the 4th minute of added time. We're seeing pictures here of the Bayern substitutes. Pavard, who's not been able to get onto the field. Thiago urging on his teammates to see this through. So it's a free kick. Coutinho and Kimmich are there. Thomas Müller is going to wander over. Müller about to win the Champions League for a 2nd time with Bayern. Takes it, Müller, to Coutinho, who's looked as though he was pulled over by Verratti, but there's no free kick, and Paris Saint-Germain, perhaps the final chance. Mbappe running it away. Plays it up towards Neymar on the halfway line. Then Neymar away from Kimmich, who's trying to get back. Neymar plays it across the front of Choupo-Moting, who was putting in the challenge on Davis, who goes sprawling, and referee Osato says free kick, but then there's a yellow card to Thomas Müller. Or Coutinho, was it? I think it was Müller. Yeah, Müller. Yellow card. For something that happened at the other end of the field. Oh, he tried to tug back Mbappe when Mbappe was breaking away. Good spot by the referee. Absolutely correct. 45 seconds to go. Hansi Flick looks tense down on the touchline. Greatest moment of his career, and no mistake. And he's been involved in World Cup victory for Germany in his time with the national team, but as a coach in his own right, what a moment this will be for him down in Lisbon. Neuer strikes this ball away downfield. 15 seconds for Paris Saint-Germain, that's all. The ball cleared out of play for a throw-in near the halfway line. Daniele Osato is being urged by the Bayern Munich substitutes to blow the whistle and end it. Kimmich has a little look at the referee. The referee says play on. Kimmich takes the throw down the line. Müller deflects it out of play. But that is it. The final whistle goes down in Lisbon in the Estadio de Luz to signal that Bayern Munich, the team of the season in the Champions League, the undisputed team of the season, have won it. They're European champions for the 6th time, and there are wild, wild celebrations. Thomas Müller runs away, he's mobbed by his teammates. It was a fine line in the end, just the 1 goal. Kingsley Coman scored it in the 2nd half. Hansi Flick, what an unlikely hero he is for Bayern Munich. He's transformed the team, and they have beaten all comers virtually since the moment that he took charge. They've won every game they've played in the Champions League this season. No team has done that before, and they are champions for the 6th time. And the final score is Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 1, and PSG will have to wait for another day. But Bayern, worthy winners, Chris Waddle and Chris Sutton.
Yeah, I think Bayern just edged it. I don't think it's been a classic. It's not something I've recorded or I'm going to watch again. But I've got to say, Bayern just had that little bit more grit, that little bit more quality. Paris had great opportunities. Listen, Paris could easily have been in the lead and could have lifted this trophy. But overall, over the game, I just thought Bayern just shaded, but it wasn't a classic.
We see tears from Neymar, but he didn't do enough tonight for PSG. I thought Bayern were the more dynamic team, the fitter team, the stronger team, and it was a French connection from Kingsley Coman which did the damage against the French team. But massive for Hansi Flick, the job which he's done. There's an argument to say that he wouldn't have been expected to win the Bundesliga from the position which he took over. I think they were 7 points behind at Christmas, and he's won the Champions League, and they have done it, okay, not in style this evening, but what a transformation one man has made to that club. And Bayern Munich deservedly win the Champions League.
Yes, the final score, Paris Saint-Germain 0, Bayern Munich 1. And we're seeing pictures of Robert Lewandowski, who didn't get on the score sheet tonight, so he didn't get his goal in the final, but what a contribution he's made to this this Bayern Munich season, which is a domestic double and the Champions League. And the Paris Saint-Germain players now being consoled by the Bayern Munich players. I see that Thiago is just racing up the steps, and Kingsley Coman, the man who turned out to be the match winner, the former Paris Saint-Germain youngster who was picked by Hansi Flick to start the match tonight rather than Perisic.
He got the right decision, and whether he knew his own work and looked at the full-back, or whether he'd had a word with him, said did he know him or has he played against him before, I don't know. But every time he got the ball, he carried a threat, and he probably lifted the man of the match award, and probably rightly so.
Hansi Flick now goes across to Thomas Muller, and they're congratulating one another. And of course, Hansi Flick, they're laughing, faces wreathed with smiles. And Thomas Muller actually puts his arms around Hansi Flick. And as we've been discussing during the course of the week, Hansi Flick so important in really bringing Thomas Muller back into the centre of things at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, out of the picture under the last manager, didn't look like he would have a future. He's integral, such an important player in the team, and it is a team with big egos. I think you can say that, but they have a work ethic, a work rate, a desire. That was the difference in the second half. It wasn't the greatest game. Chris Waddle's absolutely right. But they work for each other. They have that desire. Goretzka in the middle of the park was an absolute animal in there, breaking the play up, and they were the better team. The difference was, in this game, is they were fitter, they were stronger, and that's what won them the game.
Yep, Bayern will be getting the trophy, Kelly. I don't know whether you heard a few moments ago, it sounded like something out of the dentist's. The sort of drill noise. That was the European Cup being engraved yet again with the name of Bayern Munich.
Yet again, because they have won it for the 6th time. It's their 11th Champions League European Cup final, and the 6th time that they have won it. The 2nd time that they've won the domestic treble after that feat in 2012, 2013. Chris, aside from this match, just put into context this achievement from this Bayern Munich side and how impressive they've been throughout this campaign.
Well, you've got to give them as much credit as they'll get, and they will get a lot, because they changed the manager. Was it a risk, or was it a risk? He knows the players inside out. I'm watching him on the pitch with him now. He knows them. It's like he's friends with them, not like managers who probably we've played under, who used to shout and ball at you and threaten you a lot of things. He looks like he's one of his mates. So this is modern management, and he's obviously brought people like Muller back into the team, who's a big influence in the change room, I expect. And he's got the balance of the side right, and he's got them playing this football, which we didn't really see it. They tried it tonight. It didn't really come off the night for them, let's be honest. Give Paris a bit of credit. But since he's took over, they've been a joy to watch. They've scored lots of goals, won lots of games. It's massive for Bayern Munich. And, a lot of this team will still be around next season and the season after. So, and I'm sure they'll put a couple of additions to it next season. So, Bayern is going to be around for the next few years.
Just watching lots of tears from the PSG players, Kelly. Van Bernat, who had to come off injured late on, former Bayern Munich player, tears rolling down his face. And also Neymar as well, who had his head bowed. He was bent right over on his seat. And I think that was Leonardo, again, who I mentioned at half-time, the sporting director, interestingly, going to Neymar and having a good chat with him. I guess telling him that everything's going to be all right.
I think it's one of them with Paris. You don't know. Will they be never be in this position again? They're going to say, well, we keep Neymar and we're keeping Mbappe. So you'll say, well, yes, but have they? What's going to happen after this? Sometimes players think, I don't see it happening, so I want to move on. It'll be interesting to see how Paris do it, but Bayern Munich's definitely going to be around for the next few years at this competition, definitely.
Yeah, PSG, like it or not, they wanted to join Europe's elite club, and all the money they've spent, they're still not there.
Still not there, and we will talk about what the future holds for them. And I know that there was some suggestion that maybe some of those bigger names might not be part of the squad next season, but we'll discuss that in a bit more detail between now and 10:30. For Bayern Munich, though, Chris Sutton, this season, the way that they've performed throughout this competition, you look at their results in the knockout stages: 7-1 against Chelsea over 2 legs, 8-2 against Barcelona, 3-0 against Lyon. They weren't at their best, and they weren't at their best again tonight against Paris Saint-Germain. But again, they've done enough, and they've beaten them by a goal to nil, and they are the Champions League winners.
Yeah, and deservedly so. And what I liked about their victory tonight is, there was all the talk in the week about their high line, how this PSG team have the players to exploit that and make them pay for their style of play, and they did it a different way tonight. It wasn't pretty, but it's a sign of a great team when you can grind out results like this. They weren't at the best. Thiago was off, especially in the first half with his passing. Goretzka wasn't at his imperious best, and they didn't create as many chances as they like. But out of possession, they still had that same work ethic, that same desire. And in the second half, I did think that they were far more comfortable than in the first half, and saw the game through pretty comfortably in the end. I think PSG didn't have too many opportunities in that second half. Sula came on, wasn't ideal. Boateng going off injured, and was barely troubled, really, and PSG didn't put him under enough pressure. Neuer made big saves at the right time. I wouldn't say he was overworked, but it was a mature performance from an extremely confident team who believe in each other, and that was the difference.
And they've won every game they've played in 2020, bar one, which they drew. And it's just been the most extraordinary record, even since the turn of the year. And making that change of manager, Chris, has really clicked for them. I think we heard them described earlier as, it was a bit like having a fast car and keeping it in the garage. It didn't really make sense what was happening before Hansi Flick came in.
Yeah, it's still one hell of a turnaround, wasn't it? Understood the club, understood the values, understood the brand of football, which was expected. Winning is always expected at Bayern Munich, and he certainly galvanised this team. An interesting stat, which I read earlier this evening, that in Bavaria, people drink 40% more than the national average. That could well go up this evening, Kelly.
And presumably there's a part of the country where they drink 40% less in order to balance it all out. I know where I'd rather be going. Kingsley Coman obviously got the goal this evening. But beyond that, what did you make of his overall performance down the left?
I think he's a very talented player. I've watched him for the last few years. On his day, he's got everything he needs to be a top-class player on that wing. He's a winger. Comes inside now and again. But he does all his best work for me when he gets isolated, gets one-on-one, gets wide. He's got terrific change of pace. He's got a lot of tricks. And it's about being consistent. He's still young. And it's about putting that consistency with it. If it's not his day, can he use the ball better? But tonight, I thought he was a great outlet for them. When there was a problem, he got the ball, he ran it forward. He looked like something was going to happen when he got the ball. And, if he can keep working at his game, he's another one to watch out for in the next few years.
Yeah, you'd think that as an ex-PSG player, they might have had a better idea of how to deal with him.
Yeah, but he's listen, if you do tricks well and you can beat people, it's very difficult. You may come up against a fullback now and again who can understand it and doesn't allow you to do that, but he had to beat the fullback all night.
What, Chris, who impressed you? Chris Sutton, who impressed you?
I'm a big fan of Goretzka. I spoke about him before the game. I think he's got a fantastic attitude. More than that, I think he's got everything as a midfielder, and I'm not going to say modern midfielder, but you know, he's got a great range of passing. He's got one hell of a strike on him. I know he's been compared to Ballack in recent times, but I think he has absolutely everything. When they had the break with COVID, he worked exceptionally hard on his physicality, wanted to work harder, wanted to get better, has come back bulked up, and in the midfield he was so dynamic for them, such an important player. Wasn't at his best with his passing range this evening, but just gets stuck in, does the simple things really well, and had another big night. You can't always be at your best, and these things happen. I think we'd agree it wasn't the final which we all expected it to be this evening. So you have to do the other parts of the game well, and he was exemplary in that.
Paris Saint-Germain picking up their runners-up medals. Thomas Tuchel, it's quite a sad sight because, of course, he had that injury. It means he has to go up on crutches to go and collect that medal, which probably is a journey he could do without, John Murray.
Yes, they've built a little stage actually for this presentation ceremony, and I'm just watching now. Neymar is receiving his runners-up medal. Thiago Silva as well, his last act before his contract runs out, the captain up there last, and he looks on the verge of tears too as he has to step down the 2 steps onto the pitch again and walk past the European Cup, which has the red and white ribbons of Bayern Munich on it. Yes, the presentation party is there. The PSG president, Nasser Al-Khalifi, is there. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge is there as well for Bayern Munich. Great player of times past. Giorgio Marchetti of UEFA standing to the right of the president, the UEFA president, Alexander Ceferin. They've all been COVID tested, I'm told, which means that they can hand over the medals, no gloves required. And Hansi Flick first up in the Bayern Munich line to receive his winner's medal. What a story that is. Hans-Dieter Flick leading Bayern Munich to the Champions League, and now all of the players are receiving their golden medals with the blue ribbons, and Thiago receives his. What an end to the season he's had. Will he be at Bayern Munich next season, or will he be in the Premier League? He lifts it up and he kisses it and points up to the empty stands. Strange scene it is to think that this Champions League winners ceremony is taking place in front of empty stands in Lisbon's Estadio da Luz. And there's the winning goal scorer, Kingsley Coman, just going through and receiving his medal, and all of them. Joshua Kimmich walks away. Serge Gnabry, who scored those 2 important goals in the semi-final. Ivan Perisic is there as well before he goes off to Inter. Robert Lewandowski now, after his 55 goals this season. Didn't get one in the final, but what a fantastic season, having turned 32 on Friday. And the captain is the last one up, Manuel Neuer. A clean sheet for him as he wins the Champions League again, as he did back in 2013 at Wembley. And Alexander Ceferin will now lead Manuel Neuer down the 2 steps, and the UEFA president lifts the trophy off its plinth and hands it to Manuel Neuer, and he walks across, a huge smile on his face in front of his teammates, and then turns, and Manuel Neuer lifts the European Cup high as the ticker tape rains down in Lisbon, and Bayern Munich are the Champions League winners in 2020, and what winners they've been. They've won all of the matches they've played in the competition this season. They have been the dominant force in the Champions League. It has been, for Bayern, simply wunderbar. And he now begins to hand the trophy around, and he gives it to Lewandowski first, and why not? After the role that he's played for Bayern this season, their top scorer. And now all of those men in red shirts will get a touch and a feel of that trophy. Great scenes, great winner scenes, Kelly, in Lisbon for Bayern Munich.
Yeah, you don't get the impression that those Bayern players care that they have had to do it in an empty stadium, in these strangest of circumstances. They are celebrating because they are the Champions League winners. And as you say, John, rightly Champions League winners. There have been some hugely impressive performances throughout this whole competition as they bounce on that makeshift podium where some of the steps are rocking and slipping slightly, and I'll be honest, I'd be quite glad if they could make their way onto solid ground as soon as possible, because it's making me slightly anxious just watching them celebrate. But Chris Sutton, look, it wasn't the greatest of finals. It's better in the first half, but it wasn't the vintage Bayern that we've seen throughout the course of this season. But in terms of where they go from here, does this feel like a Bayern Munich side that can develop further?
I think that will be certainly the expectation. I mean, you're looking at it for next season, Hansi Flick. How can he ever better this? I mean, this has been stunning. Him coming in, transforming the club, the style of play, and I mean, I suppose when they absolutely thumped Barcelona, the level of performance. However, were they going to maintain that? But as I said, they did it a different way tonight. But it's a great sign. They have so many big players, big egos, yes, but players who can handle the big occasion.
There's one for you, Chris, by the way, Goretzka, who you've picked out in every game. Did you see, just before they gave him the cup to lift up, Alaba came across and actually folded up the arms of his sleeves on his red shirt so everyone could see those massive muscles that he's developed over the shutdown. And he lifted up the trophy. I was rather hoping from your point of view he was going to rip his shirt off altogether like the Hulk.
Well, yeah, the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, he's bulked up. He looks good, I have to say. And he's the one who showed muscle tonight in the middle of the park.
He did, and one of the players who's been a linchpin of this particular Bayern Munich incarnation is Thiago, and we know that he's made it clear that he doesn't want to be part of the Bayern Munich setup next season. For the club that does get him, what would they be getting?
It's actually a strange one, isn't it? He doesn't want to be part of a setup which just won the Champions League. It's slightly odd.
Could possibly change his mind, I suppose.
Yeah, and he may well do. But he's a lovely footballer. I didn't think he was at his absolute best tonight. I thought he was quite sloppy in possession, but he's a really good technician, isn't he? Lovely on the ball, brilliant to watch. Good work ethic as well. Breaks the play up. Good reader of the game. So look, every chance he's probably been tapped up and that's why he's made it clear he doesn't want to stay. He probably knows where he's going already.
Well, what do you think of him as a player, Chris Waddle?
I've always liked him. Remember he came on the scene at Barca, wasn't it? And he came to Bayern under Pep, and he's always been a technical player. Great range of pass. He doesn't probably score enough goals, but that's not really his game. He likes to get on the ball, getting it off the back four, dictating the play. And whoever signs him, if he goes to the right team, football team wise, then they'll be getting a great player. He's got great vision, great technique, decent engine. But it's strange, you've just seen a team win the treble and he wants to leave. Whether he has got a deal already sorted, obviously, money talks, and whether he's been offered something unbelievable elsewhere, that's his business, and good luck to him. But it's surprising because, as I said, this Bayern Munich side, with a few more additions, which I'm sure they'll be able to do, these can to defend this title or go on and be in chance of winning more of these.
It's a bit of a happy ending for Thiago because before this season he'd been involved in 7 of the last 9 Champions League semi-finals, but he'd never played in the final. When he was at Barcelona, he was an unused substitute in their 2011 win. So he's finally played in the final and he's won it.
I just thought who Goretzka reminds me of a little bit, Kelly. David Hasselhoff.
Well, he's big in Germany, David Hasselhoff.
There you go, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where I was about to go down a cul-de-sac with that conversation.
And 80s?
No, just saying, I think it'd look good in a pair of Speedos.
We were talking about Thiago and what the future holds for him, and how strange in many ways it would be that he's leaving a treble-winning Bayern Munich side that feels as though it has the potential to maintain maybe not quite that level of success, but certainly a high level of success over the coming seasons. What about for Paris, and what about for the players there, for the likes of Neymar and Mbappe, and for Thomas Tuchel, who was apparently a few minutes away from potentially losing his job at the end of this season when they weren't going to go past Atalanta. What happens to the big names there? What happens to the manager at PSG over the summer?
Well, I think if they keep them, obviously, with what's happened with COVID, and a lot of teams might say we haven't got the money now to spend, especially on Neymar and Mbappe, who cost a lot of money. They may have to wait another year. As for the manager, it doesn't matter who's the manager at Paris. Listen, you expected to win the league and the 2 cups and the domestic league. This is the competition they want to win. Now, if they believe he's not up to the challenge of winning this, they'll soon get rid of him. Doesn't matter what he does in the league and the domestic leagues. It's all about the Champions League for Paris Saint-Germain now. And they'll go to the next manager. It'll be high profile. They'll obviously pay him a lot of money. They'll try and buy a few more players. And they are so desperate to win this trophy. So whether they, you can say now Paris will win the league this season, and the cups. But the Champions League, I'm not sure if they can get through this far again. I'm not sure. The way that the tournament's panned out, it's helped Paris, where if it was normal, home and away, I don't know if Paris would have got this far.
And as you say, they beat Atalanta, who hadn't played in the Champions League before this season. They beat Leipzig, who hadn't played in the knockout stages of the Champions League before this season. And you could easily say that was a kind draw for them. Do you think that there's any way in which they've maybe put those doubters to bed, who've said that they don't have what it takes on whatever level to get to this level? Or do you think the fact that they've lost against this Bayern Munich side, who weren't on top form in the final, but are one of the top teams in Europe, do you think that they've put any of those doubts to bed, Paris?
No, I don't. They've got to win it to put those doubts to bed, haven't they? I mean, the issue with them now, anything is possible at PSG. It seems to be that sort of club. They are absolutely desperate to win the Champions League. That's why they've spent all the money. It's not to be the dominant force in France. Absolutely not. It's to win the Champions League. That's why the outlay went out on Neymar and Mbappe. I mean, their squad has cost a fortune to build, and whether we like it or not, they've got to the final. You can say all well and good, but they have failed once again. So what will happen? Will they bring another manager in? Will Neymar? Spoke about his influence before the game. Will he want to leave? Will Mbappe want to leave and try something else? Who knows? Anything's possible.
Where are they short then? As you say, they have the talent there. They have the players there. They have the ability to go out and spend to bring more players into the team. So what is it that they need?
I think when you've got, I think Mbappe he seems a nice lad, and but he's a superstar at that club. Now, when he plays for France, we were talking before the show, when he plays for France, Deschamps has him, disciplined, but when he's going at his club every day, the French win the World Cup, he's playing for his country. It's different when you go in that changing room. When you go into your club changing room every day, obviously he's a big fish. We know that, and sometimes they can get away with more than other players, Neymar as well. So sometimes you think, yes, I think they have played as a team tonight, but over the last few years, I'm not saw that. I think they're individuals. It's all about me, or it's all about him. Tonight, I thought they worked hard as a unit, but they never had that. They couldn't sustain it, put it that way, for long periods of the game. So we saw glimpses of them, and then Bayern, who didn't play well tonight, had enough ball, but didn't use it well enough. And then we saw Paris come back into the game again with the odd flash of something. But overall, I think it's built around Neymar and Mbappe, and if they don't perform or not on their game, I don't think they've got a plan B.
Do you think that there's anything in the fact that debutants don't win this competition, or debutants in the final don't win this competition, that there is a level of sort of collective experience that needs to come together? Do you need to know something? Is there something you need to have experience before you can go on and win it?
I get your point, but I don't necessarily think so, because that's why they've spent the money on the big players, isn't it? PSG, they spent the money on Neymar to win this trophy. You spoke about the collective. The difference tonight was one team they seem to have a better collective. Bayern Munich are more of a football team than PSG, who have individuals, and that was always the worry coming into the tournament before it started, and then once again into the final this evening. And it didn't click for them, and it clicked better for Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich grafted and ground the result out and deserved to win the competition.
I think there's a little lesson, Kelly, for the scenes that we're seeing inside the stadium there this evening with Bayern Munich celebrating, because Paris Saint-Germain have got to where they've got tonight, to a Champions League final. You know, it's less than 10 years, isn't it, since there was the big investment. And it's big investment. It's big money that's got them to where they are now. But if they look on the pitch now, they see all of the Bayern Munich hierarchy coming down onto the pitch. So it's not just the team that they've just lost to. You're looking there at people who are pivotal in that club. I mentioned Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, who was there as the main representative on the stage. But Oliver Kahn was walking down the steps. Uli Hoeneß is there as well. They're looking at a club that has a brilliant heritage and also uses the history that it's got and the great players that it's got to maintain the history that it has. And that really is where Paris Saint-Germain are looking to get to in the fullness of time.
And you've got to question, Paris, when eventually will the owners say it's not meant to be? And then you pull the money away and you say, I've had enough of it. I'm not putting that much money in anymore. And that's when all the players disappear.
I'm not sure about that, Chris, because I think their ambitions are much greater than that. They talk about
how much is it going to cost then? What's it going to take? How much more are they willing to spend?
Well, I think they're willing to spend what it takes to make. What do they want to do? They want to make Paris Saint-Germain the biggest sporting brand in the world. And what's happened tonight is a massive part of that. Even though they've not won, you know, the coverage and exposure that they will get this evening is extraordinary.
Who can they buy?
Well, what they can do is do this again. Do it again and again and again and build that brand and make Paris Saint-Germain. You know, their ambition is to make Paris Saint-Germain like the New York Yankees. You know, one of the great sporting brands. So that's the non-football side of it.
But how damaging could tonight be, the fact that they've gotten into the final, and Chris quite rightly spoke earlier about, you know, they've had a favourable draw the last couple of rounds, sides would expect them to beat, and when they had the real test, and it wasn't Bayern Munich at their absolute pinnacle this evening, they still didn't win.
I don't think it's damaging because they've reached the final.
Yeah, but nobody remembers the loser.
No, when you invest the money they've invested, this was their opportunity. This was the opportunity. When that draw got panned out, they must have thought, this is it. We've got Atlanta, we've got Leipzig. All right, we may come across Bayern in the final, which they must have looked at, but they must have thought, this is it. We're not going to get a better chance. This is it. And they'll not. They'll be so disappointed, by the way. You watch what happens in the next few weeks at Paris Saint-Germain. Because they're not going to sit back and go, it was brilliant that. We got the final, and what an occasion, what a great, there's your run-up. No, that was there. This was the time to win it. And they haven't won it. And I tell you, the owners are all saying that they'll be happy to be there in the publicity again. No, they want to win it. It's simple as that. And this was the opportunity to win it.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think this is the end. I think this is just the start of what they intend to do.
And whether it's the start, they've sort of started a while ago with this project, haven't they? It's gone on a long time, and I just wonder, the owners will be sitting scratching their heads thinking, well, we've spent X amount, millions and millions and millions of pounds other clubs can't spend. So where is the end point? You say they have to win it. How are they going to win it? Who's going to go there? Who are they going to attract?
I mean, they will attract who they want with the money that they pay.
Well, this was like Lyon. They came on, took over from Marseille in a way. They went and won the league 8 years running, whatever, and they said, it's a Champions League we want. We'll win the league because we've got more money than anybody else. At this time, it's a Champions League, but they never got near it. Maybe got the same a quarter, but they never got near it. And then eventually it went, we've had enough. I've had 8 years of this, but I've had enough of it. And they move off.
Are there similarities to be drawn between Paris Saint-Germain and Manchester City?
Well, in terms of money spent, I think
and Champions League being their ultimate aim.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. I know there's an argument, what Pep was brought in for. Was it the Premier League or the Champions League? Well, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, there's a large element that he was brought in to win the Champions League as well. Of course, Manchester City want to be the dominant force in England, but at this moment in time, you'd have to say that Manchester City and PSG have both been miserable failures in the Champions League with the money which they have been able to spend, because a lot of clubs can't compete with that. You look at what Bayern Munich, their transfer policy, and they've brought some very, very good players in, but they've done it in a different way. What was the stat about Bayern Munich's squad being half the value, I think, of Neymar, the squad which they played in against Lyon? I think that's right. Yeah,
the lineup tonight, the starting lineup tonight, in terms of transfer fees, Bayern Munich's was 86 million euros or thereabouts. Give or take a million, a few either way.
And that just shows you.
Yeah,
it's not all about the money. It's about a team knitting together. Bayern Munich are a team, and there's still question marks over whether PSG are. If we think that a final's enough, then maybe so, but it's not the case. PSG, okay, they're a club from the French league, but they're not a small club. They are a massive club. The money that they can spend on wages, they can attract the best players, but it hasn't all knitted together.
Bayern Munich, of course, no slouches in the transfer market. Though, like you say, it is a different transfer policy. One of the players who's going to be joining them, we know, is Leroy Sané. Can you imagine him in this side?
Well, yeah. I mean, they've got Cohen, who was good tonight, and obviously when he had the ball, his feet. They've got a few. Obviously, Perisic will go back. I'm sure Coutinho will go off onto new pastures, and so it'll be a welcome addition. He's still very young as well, and the way Bayern play with the two weight men, he'd be ideal for them. He's got pace. He can go past players. He's ideal for the way Bayern play. And they'll still be looking around. Listen, if they can attract one or two more players apart from that, they'll be looking to think we need two or three, maybe more, and they can just keep going. It's a very well-run club, Bayern Munich. And, Chris, we've been talking about Paris spending a lot of money in Man City. Sometimes you stand back and you've got to admire what Bayern Munich do. Their wage bill and their transfer policies, when you look compared to certain clubs, what they spend in wages, they probably overachieve when you look at certain clubs.
It isn't always the case in the Champions League or even before that in the European Cup, but have the best team in Europe are the best team in Europe, the champions of Europe.
I think they are, and you just have to. I mean, recruitment is so important. We know that, but you have to look at the way Bayern Munich have done it, and they get the best players from other clubs in the German league. Players like Kimmich, who's been such an important player, better player in the middle of the park, can go and do a job out at right back tonight, and they're a massive threat down that side, PSG and Mbappe. He played him extremely well, couldn't match his pace, but such an intelligent player. Most times when Mbappe was cutting inside on his favoured right foot, Kimmich read that situation. We talk about Goretzka. I think he was just over 3 million euros they signed him for. What a player he's been. Gnabry, another player that they've got in. It just shows you don't have to spend the big bucks. We understand why Bayern Munich is such an attractive club to go to, because they are the biggest force, an enormous force in Germany. But, they are a brilliant, brilliant team. And the way they've actually recruited players, it's maybe a lesson for not only PSG, but for a lot of clubs over here in the Premier League.
Kelly, before we finish tonight, can I just have a little word? Because this is effectively the end of the season. Finally, it's come tonight, hasn't it, after all of these months? So, it's been quite a challenge over the course of the last few months or so to get all of the matches and everything together. So just before we finish, I just wanted to say thank you to all of our production staff and our engineers and our sound staff, both in the studios and both on our outside broadcasts, and the summarisers as well, and indeed the presenters. So thank you to everybody.
Well said, John. It has. It's been a huge effort, because it's been the most extraordinary of circumstances. It's been the strangest of times, as has been said many times throughout the whole of this experience. And we are now at the end of the men's season.
There'll be another one along in a minute.
Like buses. But we'll also read the Champions League's already started for next season. We've already had the qualifiers underway in that one. So we're already running next season concurrently with this one in the Champions League. But that is it. The end of the 2019-2020 season for the men. It's done and it's dusted. And Bayern Munich are the European champions. They've beaten Paris Saint-Germain by a 1-0. It came from Kingsley Coman. And that's it for this evening. Thank you very much to Chris Waddle, to Chris Sutton, and of course to John Murray. Up next on 5 Live, it's Stephen Nolan. Evening, Stephen.
Hello, Kelly. Thank you very much indeed. Coming up tonight, the next phase of getting children back to school starts in Northern Ireland tomorrow. As unions warn, they ain't ready. And it could lead to another COVID crisis, they say, on the scale of care home and the death scandal around them. We're looking to take your calls on that tonight, but first let's get the BBC News with Shabnam.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
And with the 5 Live News, I'm Shabnam Yunus-Jewell. The UK's largest teaching union, the National Education Union, says more staff and extra teaching space is needed if schools are to reopen safely for all children next month. The Chief Medical Officer for England, Professor Chris Whitty, said the damage caused by not going to school outweighed any risk from COVID. The largest teaching union in Northern Ireland has told Stephen Nolan that they fear for children's safety as they prepare to return tomorrow. And you can hear that interview in just a moment. There have been another 1,041 positive COVID-19 tests in the most recent 24-hour period. 6 more deaths have been recorded. There's been a day of mass protests in Belarus against the embattled President Alexander Lukashenko. Demonstrators gathered in Independence Square in the capital Minsk to call for the president to step down. A spokesman for Ireland's EU Commissioner Phil Hogan has said he won't stand down despite growing calls for his resignation. He's apologised for attending a golf dinner on Wednesday, a day after tighter lockdown restrictions were announced. And firefighters in California fear a change in the weather could hamper their efforts to bring some of the worst wildfires in the state's history under control. 6 people have died and tens of thousands have been forced from their homes. Time for some sport now. And Bayern Munich, as you've been hearing, have beaten Paris Saint-Germain 1-0 to become European champions for a 6th time. Kingsley Coman's second-half header did the job for the Germans in Lisbon, completing the second European domestic treble in their history.